1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yes, yes, yes. Mr. Raphael Dawkins with a Combat Radio. And today we're looking at what's the topic of this piece. And as a matter of fact, rat-tat-tat-tat, while we talking about topics of pieces and pieces of topics, etc., 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 and all kind of tomfoolery. Let's get, amidst all of that, let's get the screen looking right. Okay. Looking right, looking tight. Let's blow that up just a little bit. And where are we here? Have you spread RCD on Twitter, social media? Sack the technical department. OMG. Well, there's only so many hours in the day. And, Rafi's what do you call him? Rafi's a self-contracted, self-expanding. So it's kind of on the technical department, it's a one-man show. But definitely, we're looking to branch out, follow the Joe Rogan model, get a tech guy in. Love to get a tech guy in, for some added action around the social media world. But hey, in the meantime, you just got to do what you got to do. You gotta live life, and you gotta put a crust on the table. You know what I'm saying? You can't live life as a fully grown man, fully grown adult male, without being able to put a crust on the table. You know what I'm saying? And the Rafi wants a big crust on the table. OMG. So you can't be fiddling around with social media, fiddling around with this and that infinitely. But you do a little bit, you get more accustomed to it. Yeah. But long story short, now this show has not been put up on social media. Not yet. But what I will do is we're going to go into a warm-in video. And where's the last time we did a warm-in video? I don't even know if I've got where is it? There it is. Boom, boom, boom. That was pre-made some months ago. And in the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to do a warm-in video, allow people to settle in. OMG. What's going on here? It's all good. It's all good anyway. Where are we? What's this thing here? Okay. So, what am I looking for? Dang. I'm befuddled. I befuddled myself. Okay. So we are looking at what we're looking at now. Let's get it together. Let's get this warm-in video on the way. Which one are we looking at? That one? I think so. Yeah, okay. So, what's on the menu for today? What is on the menu? Well, we're going to be looking at, what is it? Just tweeted it. Good man. James Jameson is on it. We're looking at, clearly and logically, we're looking at what happened on the Matchroom card last night. We got a new champion in the form of Whyte. It's an interim champion, yes, but champion nonetheless. And you also will see Francis Ngannou on the right, taking it to Miocic or Stipe Miocic. Okay, no problem at all. Who's in the building? Of course, we got the James Jameson. Just tweeted it. Marveloso. Just shared a tweet. I have to get this out to the secret society. And of course, the TK is up in the building. And I don't think a notification has gone through. Why has the notification for this shiznix not gone through? OMG. It bees like that sometime. And as a result of which, OMG. Okay. So we know that the sound check is good. Let me go into the technical department and see what is crack-a-lacking, what is going down. Where are we? Damn, I'm all over the place. It's a one-man show so far. Damn, when it comes to technical shiznix, I'm all over the bloody shop. All over the bloody shop. Hold on, let me do a little check there. Okay, I'm safe in that regard. Damn it. The notification, I don't recall the notifications going out. What the dickens is going on? Save that. Okay. What the hell's going on? It's messing around in the background. Clicking button after button after button. All right, let's go again then. Let's try again. Let's try that one more time. One more time with feeling. Is it gonna? OMG. This backstage shiznix is a game within itself. What do you guys think about Whyte's win? Well, you know something, TK? You're in the right place to ask that question. But first, we're going to go into a warm-in video. We're going to be looking at last night's UFC. Damn, and that's another thing I didn't do. Bring on the tech guy or tech gal. Let's not be sexist around here. The tech guy might be a tech gal. We could have a tech gal, tech guy. You know what I mean? Just be aware of that possibility. And I'm doing something here. I'm in the process of doing something, and I almost forgot what it was. What was it? It was UFC. Oh, I know exactly what it was. And I need to copy this and type this in. Paste. Let's get this done, and we may proceed. Yes, boom. Is that done? But that is not done. Okay, well, that'll do. That's good enough. Let me take a look at this shiznix. Okay, I hope everyone is well today. It was an exciting night of fights. We had the Matchroom card, and we also had the UFC. Now, Rafi's getting a bit more sensible these days. No way in hell did the Rafi stay up to watch the UFC. And the Matchroom boxing was in the UK, so it was great. It was all gravy. I woke up, completely forgot about the UFC, completely forgot about the Stipe Miocic versus Cameroon, the Cameroons. What's his name again? Francis Ngannou. But anyway, next move's in the heavyweight division. But anyway, I don't need to be talking about that because that will be the topic of the warm-in video. Allow people to warm in. Get comfortable, get your coffee, get your cream crackers, and and get comfortable. Most of all, get comfortable. Rafi's had a bunch of texts he haven't even had a chance to respond to. But will. Let's have a look at this here. Boom. Yeah, okay. So everything is in place. I think we're ready to rock and roll. I think the people are in here. You're in here? I can't even see nobody. Where? Let's change the screen. Okay, let's have a look at this. What do you think of Whyte? What do you guys think about Whyte's win? Congratulations to Coach. Congratulations to Coach Xavier Miller, you mean? Whyte controlled it from start to finish, controlled the game and pace throughout the fight. Great performance. I was hoping to hear the last of... Darn, I was hoping to hear the last of the dope. Who's the dope fiend? But congrats to Whyte for beating up a 40... Madness. When Fury beat, hold on a second. How rude of me. When Fury beat a 40-year-old Klitschko, 40-year-old Vladimir Klitschko, it was all cool in the gang. But when Joshua beat him about a year and a half later, 18 months later, oh, he's old. and now Whyte has beat a 40-year-old Povetkin who nobody wanted to get in there. Very few people have had the testicles to get in there with Povetkin. Whyte does it not once but twice, and it's now he's old. Oh, Povetkin's old. Did you see his knee? His knee slipped out of place. OMG. Oh, Lord. What can we do? Does he need stem cells? Give him some stem cells on the NHS. Madness, I tell you. Yeah, you weren't saying that before the fight. Yeah, it was all cool in the gang before the fight. Now, after the fight, Whyte's old. OMG. What's that all about? Especially happy when Whyte rocked Povetkin in the third round. He didn't jump in, kept his rhythm, continued at his pace. You can't teach that. Comes with experience. Great performance. Yeah, but I think they taught him that. OMG. Okay. No, there's another guy called Coach K. Coach K is someone that I had a debate with about 2 months ago. Coach K is someone I had a debate with around 2 months ago. So every time Coach K comes in here, you guys think it's Xavier? That's funny. That is funny. That is funny. Although, since we're talking about Xavier Miller coming back on the show, this is going to be it's going to be his first exclusive interview after the Dillian Whyte versus Povetkin fight. So we've had that conversation. That is sealed. Yeah, it was a conversation. Yeah. It was a conversation via mobile technical devices by Star Trek phone. Remember the Motorola Star Trek phone? Yeah, untraceable. We talked through the Motorola Star Trek phone. OMG. So let's do a little scroll back. Let's do a little walk down memory lane. Let's share my screen. Hold on. Have I dropped the shizniks in the chat? There it is. Let me pin that. Boom. Okay, so what is going on? What is going on? What was I looking for? I was looking for something very specific. I was going to bring it up. We were going to talk about it for a couple seconds before we get into the warming video. OMG. Rafi is vibrant, full of energy. NRG. Okay, so I'm scrolling down. I'm looking for the particular show. Where are we? Where is it? I think it's somewhere around here. I recognize these. Ah, there it is. There it is. Let's blow this up. Let's blow this up in size so you can see what I can see. All right, let's scroll down for this. Let's scroll down for this. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? OMG. I remember it was around this period. Where is it? It was around this period. I do remember the thumbnail. I distinctly remember the thumbnail, and there it is. There it is. Some of you may remember we had a very interesting debate. It was a lively debate. It was a fun debate. Well, it was fun for me. It was interesting. It was lively. And yeah, it was a nice chat. It was a nice chat, a nice debate. And where is it? Where is it? I'm sure I've seen it a couple times already. There it is. There it is. That's the thumbnail of the discussion, the debate. Right there. Vice's Leadership and Community featuring Coach K. So that was a great debate. What time? What day? When was that? That was 2 months ago. My. How time flies. Okay, so we got a little bit of history lesson there. We got the history lesson behind that. Let's come out of that. Let's stop sharing that. Where is Wilder? MIA. Is the fella gone MIA? Well, yeah, it's gone mighty quiet. Congratulations to the real Coach Miller. Okay, so for those who don't know, she's busy up in the building. I might as well. I'll set up the live show. I'll set up the live show thread, thumbnail, and spread that out on the social media and here on YouTube, the exclusive news. Rafi's getting the first exclusive interview scheduled for tomorrow. We were going to do it tonight, but it's going to be a bit hectic for Xavier tonight. So we're going to do that tomorrow around lunchtime, around 12 noon UK time. So look out for that anytime between 11 a.m. UK time and 12 noon. Over here, Greenwich Mean Time, GMT. Okay. She's busy up in the building. I should write that down, really, shouldn't I? Let me write this down. Let's get this memorialized. Here we are. COACH, Coach Miller, exclusive first interview. Exclusive first interview after Whyte victory. Whyte KO. Whyte KO of Povetkin. After Whyte's KO of Povetkin. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so let me get these two rolling at the same time. Let me get them two going at the same time. Yes. Coach Xavier Miller, exclusive first interview after Whyte's KO of Povetkin. I better write that down. Better write down the time. Monday, 11 p.m., 11 a.m. 11 a.m. UK time. Okay, so boom, boom, boom. You can see that, yeah? You can see that. Okay, so let me get into the chat. Let me get into the chat. I was looking forward to Wilder versus Fury, AJ and Ruiz, but nothing has been heard from Wilder himself. Well, you know, damn, is Wilder in hiding? Is he hiding out? I don't know. What's going on? What is going on? We're going to be talking about that. Have no fear. We're going to be talking about that. Wilder will never fight again. He's always been a hype job. His resume is one of the worst in boxing history. OMG. Okay, so where are we? Where are we? So let's finally do this. Let's finally get into that blasted warming video that we promised, and then we go full throttle into this shiznix. Let's have a look. Okay, let's scroll. Where is it? Warming video. There it is. Okay, so let's do this. Let's line it up. Where is it? It's not there. It's over here. Okay. Okay, there it is. Huh. Yes. Okay, so let's cut the music. Let's cut the music and get this thing started. Stop sharing that and start sharing this. Boom. Where is it? Boom. Boom. Resize this shiznix and let us go. Okay. We got John D. Lee in the background. Just come in. John, we're just doing the warming and then we're off. So let's get this warm-in thing underway. Stop the music. Or press play first, then stop the music. That makes more sense. Excuse me. It is early in the morning on Sunday. What's the date? Sunday the 28th of March. And the clocks in the UK have gone forward, so they've lost an hour. Maybe that could account for my mild speech impediment just then. Okay, so let's get into it. It is happy morning. Dillian Whyte last night redeemed his loss to Alexander Povetkin. So Rafi woke up in fine mood, in fine form. Upon waking up, I realized I heard the word. Oops. Oh gosh. I heard the word that something had gone down in the UFC, in the heavyweight division. Something very, very interesting. And it was that the heavyweight champion, Stipe Miocic, now he is seen on the defensive, took one hell of a shellacking. They had fought before. OMG. They fought before, what was it, a couple of years back now, when Ngannou was kind of green to the game. Something of a phenom, something of a phenomenon, but relatively green and compared to the experienced Stipe Miocic. And even though he rocked and dropped Stipe Miocic in that first fight early out, he fell victim to the ground and pound of Miocic. Miocic uses wrestling. OMG. Miocic used his wrestling and ground and pounded the Cameroon native, Africa, French Cameroon. Immigrated to France, where he started his MMA career. He wanted to be a boxer, but his coach persuaded him. A coach persuaded him to go to MMA instead, and he lost to Miocic that night a couple of years ago. But he's been improving since. He's been improving since and been on an upward trajectory. You see, Francis Ngannou had always been a good striker, but the ground game let him down. But he took time out, shored up his game, and last night he put one hell of a shellacking on the reigning champion, Stipe Miocic, the American Croatian sensation. But the only thing sensational last night was the whooping that he took at the hands of Francis Ngannou, now residing in California, Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada. Pretty much lives at the UFC Performance Center. And it certainly paid off. Last night, UFC 260, where Francis Ngannou became with that punch, and obviously all the punches and the kicks before, the low kicks to the leg, the high kick to the head, the wrestling takedown, stuffed Miocic's shot, stuffed it, and covered his bases, striking impeccable, ground game very respectable, takedown defense, high level. Add all of that together, and what you have is the new UFC heavyweight champion of the world in the form of Francis Ngannou. And wow, what can you say? What can you say other than salute to Africa's first UFC heavyweight champion. OMG. Props to Stipe Miocic. Never one to shy away from a challenge. Boom, boom, boom. And there it is. We'll be obviously talking about this further in the days to come. And even today. Absolutely. And the new heavyweight champion in the form of Cameroons, now living in Nevada, Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou. Okay, let me stop that. Let me stop sharing that right now. Shut out. And absolutely. Boom, boom, boom. Let me adjust the volume now, because I had to take it crazy high. The volume was low down there. And boom, in comes the John Dealey and the Iron Kong. Let me get the music back. How rude. Where's the music? Boom, boom, boom. Okay. In comes the John D. Lee. John D. Lee, welcome. We're looking
Afternoon, Rafi.
How do you do, John? We're looking at the weekend just gone. We're looking at the big news, the big bits. The big bit is I don't even want to guide you or direct you. I just want to let you speak from, and I want to change this music as well. It sounds a little bit too Starsky and Hutch. This music is sounding a little bit too Starsky and Hutch for me. I'm gonna have to bring it down just a little bit and change the vibe. Okay, that's where I feel comfortable. That's where I feel comfortable with some old Philly strings, some Philadelphia strings. Before we get into that, John D. Lee, what's your impression of the weekend that's just gone past?
Dillian did an excellent job. He provided an entertaining fight, came back from his loss, and showed a tremendous amount of class in victory, a huge amount of class.
Yeah. Huge amount of class in victory. Huge amount of class in victory. I got some things, some observations, some pointers, etc. Okay, so that's John Dealey's opening gambit. And in comes, alongside John Dealey, the Iron Kong. Iron Kong, how do you do?
Yeah, Rafi, all good. What's up, John? Dillian Whyte again. You know, it's interesting that my compatriots that don't like Dillian, usually from America or whatever, to tell you how soft UK fighters are, right? But thus far, I've seen 2 UK fighters take immediate rematches and overcome whatever demons and win. Right?
I'm glad you said that. We need to get onto that.
You know, it's interesting to see who really has the tough mentality that none of them guys, hid from nobody. They didn't fight out for months. They didn't fire the trainers and do all kind of messy stuff and all this BS.
Mm-hmm.
Then they took the L, got back up, activated their rematch clauses, and they prepared themselves for war once again. So it's just interesting that they're gonna find some other reason to hate on Dillian Whyte now, or whoever else. But they need to start looking at their favorite fighters and see because I remember when I didn't support Anthony Joshua, right? I remember when I did support Deontay Wilder, but then I realized certain things that I hold to be important for combat sport athletes. Anthony Joshua embodied those things more than Deontay Wilder, and so I put my support behind Anthony Joshua. It's not about people, not about personality. It's about performance and about production. That's my opinion.
Well, that's very, very interesting. Very interesting. We've got onto that topic early. Well, let's go with it. John D. Lee, fighting the tough fights. We've got situations overseas, primarily overseas, where cats don't want to fight cats. Cats are coming up with all kind of lame cockamamie excuses why they don't have to fight the other cat. They don't have to fight the other big cat on campus. We're having situations overseas where fights are not being made. Excuses after excuses after excuses, and it's getting damn near redonkulous or ridiculous. But over here, we're very fortunate, John D. Lee. I put it to you, we're very fortunate because over here in the UK, we're getting to see the top fights, my friend. We're getting to see the top fights. Man isn't running away saying, oh, this guy beat me. Man isn't running away saying, yeah, I'll take him on in about 12 months' time. Man's going back in there at the soonest possible occasion to get back. Going there for to get back. what was lost or taken or stolen or misappropriated or whatever. But they're going back to get the shizzle they previously had and lost. John D. Lee.
Well, there's two things about that. First of all, I think that's why the UK fighters are generating the money that they are. And possibly that's why the fighters on different shows aren't generating the same type of revenue.
Shameful.
This idea that you need to protect your own to ensure that you're a big money fighter is being completely torn to shreds over here.
Yeah.
I would have thought the pay-per-view on that did very well because people wanted to know how Dillian was going to come back from his loss.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And same can be said for Anthony Joshua when he lost.
Big time.
Everybody
Big time.
wanted to know how he was going to come back from that.
Everybody wanted to know, and he got paid more than he got the first time around. Except when he went to redeem himself.
Exactly. So that's my first point. Second point, for American fighters to suggest that Dillian Whyte in particular is soft is very naive.
Foolish.
Very naive. If anybody knows what Dillian went through as a young man, as not even a man, as a boy, really. You look at the age that he was.
Yeah.
There aren't many American fighters that have been subjected to that type of stuff at all.
Even in the hood?
Yeah.
Damn.
So let's take Big Belly Miller, who had a lot to say about how soft Anthony Joshua was because we don't have guns in the UK. I'm pretty confident that he's never been shot.
Yeah. I know.
Dillian, when he got shot, didn't even go to hospital. He took the bullet out himself, and he's been stabbed twice as well.
Damn. Kid's got something. If it wasn't for bad luck, he'd have no luck at all.
So, yes, we don't have a proliferation of gun violence in the UK, which is a very, very good thing.
Very good thing.
But to suggest that we're soft because we don't have those issues it is not an understanding of how things work here.
Shows a lack of understanding, an ignorance. No, I don't mean to be rude, but a certain ignorance about the topic matter, the location, etc. I see the fight doctor lurking around. Let me just say to him, I see you. He's going to wonder how. He's going to say, how can Rafi see me? How can Rafi see me?
I'm sure there must be a link available for our friend, the fight doctor. Anyway.
I just dropped the link, and he can't say he didn't see it because he's right there. I saw him pop up. I literally saw him pop his head up and then pop it back down again like a tortoise. You know, and they pop the heads out and then they pop it back into the shell. It was a lot like that. I had to use my imagination to see it pop it, you know. Anyway, yes. So this nonsense, this malarkey. Let me have a look what's going on in the chat right now because there's some good points being made. This nonsense, this malarkey about this nonsense of avoiding the fights. This nonsense of avoiding the fights. It ain't happening over here in the UK right about now. It's happening. Those fights are happening. And so there must be, come on, Americans. Come on, Americans. I will not accept you poppycocking and messing around and hiding behind bushes. There's some serious matters to be discussed here. And one of them is look at the difference. Look at the vibrance. Look at what happens when you need to talk to your fighters. You got fighters out there ducking like it's going out of fashion. You know what I mean? I got to park down. There's more. I see more ducking from the States. Some of your top fighters, and it is appalling. It is, and the consequence of which is it devalues the market. It drops the market. It doesn't inflate it. It drops the market when people have to subjected to seeing a duck over here, a duck over there. He's on the wrong side of the street. We don't play over there. We don't play over there. We only play over here. No, he's with the wrong people. Can't be done. Get the out of here. Now we see examples in the UFC. We just see an example. What the hell? Let me share my damn screen in case y'all must have forgot. In case y'all must have forgot what happened just a few hours ago in America, different sport. But it happened in America in a different sport. You recognize these guys? Yeah. These guys work under Dana Whyte. And he just makes the top fights happen. Yeah, you see this guy over here? Hold on, where's my scroller? You see this guy over here? He goes by the name of Stipe Miocic, an American man with Croatian forefathers. Okay. You see this man over here? His name is Francis Ngannou. A Cameroon man, a man from the Cameroon. You see coming to America, the first one? Yes, I am from Cameroon. Yes, well, that's it. Cameroon, that's the country that this guy comes from. Francis Ngannou. This guy was the champ. This guy fought him before. This guy knocked this guy down. People thought, oh, a few years back, a couple of years ago, oh, we got a new champion, but no. The champion persevered, came back and won the fight over this guy, Francis Ngannou. 2 years later, Dana White makes the fight happen again. Francis Ngannou comes from the number one challenger to the new UFC heavyweight champion. And that was done under Dana White, making it happen. But elsewhere in the combat world, I'm afraid to say, over in America, those fights ain't happening. And it's very, very sad. But we see over here what can happen when those fights do happen. When you make the fights happen, it becomes a vibrant market. It doesn't depend on two heavyweight champions over there making, calling the price or whatever, saying, yeah, we got to make this a much amount. And they do a PPV, which is supposed to be successful, which actually hardly breaks even. That's what's going on over there. But over here, the market is more vibrant to the point where people are just happy to see the top fights. And that's what we saw last night on the Matchroom card. Dillian Whyte defeating the guy who defeated him about 6 months prior, 7 months prior, in the shape of Alexander Povetkin. I guess I should pull up some pictures of that shiznix, really. But I'm just trapped with too many windows. Okay, so who wants to go? Who wants to go on that?
Where you want me going, Rafi? Talk to me. Where you want me going? That happening in the US.
Will the movement. We got movement now. We've got movement. We have a champion. We got an interim champion. We got a WBC interim champion. And so there's going to have to be movement. There's going to be movement now.
Well, let's hope, because we know the WBC does will find a way to WBC. You know what I'm saying? They don't stick to nothing. They say, if it's good today, it might not be good tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll see what happened to Dillian Whyte and that. And in terms of Francis Ngannou, though, I'm really happy for that man. That man came from absolutely nothing, hiding in forests as a refugee, an illegal immigrant.
Yeah.
People stealing from him and people taking advantage of him, being homeless, depending on people's goodwill. And he did all he did to support his mother back home. He, now and again, he posts pictures of things he's done for his family, the farmlands and everything. And I couldn't be happier for somebody than I am for Francis. Francis seems to be a guy who's very humble. Yeah. I guess life has a way of also keeping you humble, and never forgetting where you come from.
Yeah,
and I'm really happy for him. Yeah, man. Francis in the first fight, I knew he wouldn't win because he was so raw.
Yes.
I would have been surprised if he had won that fight.
Too soon.
Based on just his physical abilities alone.
Yeah.
Steve persevered and he figured him out, that he was just going to wing these big shots. But coming in, knowing that he still had the same physical attributes, and now he was much calmer, much more patient. I knew he was going to win this fight. Yeah, exactly. He was going to win the fight. I mean, there was no doubt. But Dana White will make the fights happen. Yeah. He's not going to sit here until he's not marinating nothing. He going to make the fight happen. And it's something that is why the UFC is murdering American boxing at the moment. And it's just something that they're going to have to deal with. And the boxing promoters in America are not learning their lesson. But when you have boxers who are being paid to do nothing, it's not going to change. It's not going to change. Yeah.
Just going to get sloppy. They're just going to get sloppy. John D. Lee. Movements. Over there in America, we got a new champion of the UFC heavyweight division.
I'm a complete non-follower of UFC, Rafi, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that's no problem. But I think that
it was an entertaining fight.
The reason it crosses over into, or the reason I've twined the two together, is because it shows us what can happen when the best are made to fight each other, where there is a will that the best fight each other. It happens, and the fans get what they want, John Dealey.
The big question I have about this is, these are the best two within UFC, which is a promotion.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys will never fight any of the other MMA promotions, will they?
Unless they switch organizations. That's correct.
So, unfortunately, I am concerned that the success of UFC has made boxing promoters, one in particular, try and emulate this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Because trying to do everything in-house in UFC clearly works.
Yeah.
And this was a good fight. People are protecting their elbows in UFC. The best are genuinely fighting the best. And that was an extremely entertaining and competitive fight.
Yeah.
So what they've done is tried to copy the wrong part of the UFC.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They've tried to copy the doing everything in-house part without copying it doesn't matter if our fighters lose. Let's chuck them in together.
Yeah.
And let's make fights.
Yeah.
Because there's fights that aren't happening just within the PBC that should happen.
Mm-hmm.
So they're only copying one part.
Yeah.
They're not copying the whole.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they were to just do that, the PBC would be more entertaining.
Yeah. You can't just copy one element. You can't just copy one element of a system and expect the whole damn thing to run as the system that you're copying. That's utterly, patently nonsensical. Yes, you're right. Good observation.
And boxing is just losing ground in America to things like this because, for the reasons we're talking about, losses don't matter. People want to be entertained.
Yeah, exactly. And Ngannou lost two and a half years ago, and 2.5 years later he's coming back fighting the same damn guy for the same damn title. It wasn't a problem. You don't just disappear. You carry on damn well fighting.
Sorry, John, go ahead. My bad.
Well, no, you can go, Con. Go on, I've just been talking.
The thing is, though, I only see this whole loss thing, that losses matter mostly. Again, all of my programming comes from America. So all my boxing stuff is usually American market based.
Yeah.
And it's only there that I see the whole losses. Oh, you get a loss, you're a bum. And all this, right? I don't see this, like even in England, English boxing you don't see this behavior. But in other combat sports, bosses really don't matter. Like I watched like younger, when I was heavy into karate and taekwondo, I used to watch a lot of K1.
Mm-hmm.
And them guys took a lot of L's.
Yeah.
They took a lot of L's because they would fight each other and they were the best of the best. And it didn't matter if they lost. By the next time, the crowd would be there again to watch them. It just didn't matter. Boxing has this sort of sick. Like I saw and heard Eddie Hearn say that boxing can't be done. Look at all the numbers that we're doing. I said, no, Eddie, that's you doing big numbers. The rest of these guys not doing no numbers.
They ain't doing no numbers. They ain't doing no numbers.
The sad thing is, when boxing was the #1 sport in America,
yeah,
and there's been reasonable amounts of time where it was ahead of baseball even, the people who produced the boxing media, the boxing writers, were distrustful of undefeated fighters.
Yeah.
Because boxing was so competitive, they felt that if you were undefeated, you hadn't been fighting anybody. And they wanted to know how you were going to come back from a defeat.
Yeah.
And if anyone doubts what I'm saying, there's some quite famous boxing historians who harp on about this, like Mike Silver.
Right.
And it's been borne out in the UK. Dillion's probably his profile's better than it was before he lost to Povetkin now.
Yeah. Good point.
And
they said they didn't know him, but as soon as he loses to Povetkin, he's on everybody's lips. So that's proof that something works. They said that Dillian who? Now he's lost to Povetkin. Now when he lost to Povetkin, Dillian Whyte, yeah, nobody knows him. Nobody know. Oh, well, they know him now, yeah? They know him now, and now he's the WBC #1 mandate guy, WBC mandate guy. Now when he finished, when he got stopped by Povetkin 6 months ago, whenever it was last year, Mauricio Suleiman came out and said that Dillian was due a shot February 2021. It was made, the date was made eventually after waiting for 1,000 days or so. So after beating Rivas, Dillian Whyte, it was said, okay, right. So yeah, this is your date, February 2021. February 2021. Then he goes and loses to Povetkin, a fight which personally I would have preferred him not to take. I'd have preferred him take one of Wilder's ex-opponents or one of Fury's ex-opponents, because looked like he was fighting for the WBC and one of them guys would be champion. So fight one of their guys. But he went for one of Joshua's ex-guys. And you know, Joshua fights a different caliber of guy on a regular basis. Different caliber to your Wilders and your Furies. He fights different caliber, higher caliber. Routinely fights higher caliber opponents. So instead of Dillian Whyte going for an ex-opponent of Wilder or an ex-opponent of Fury, which de facto would be an easier opponent, he goes for one of Joshua's opponents and gets knocked out. Highly unfortunate to me. That's not playing the game, but it is playing the game. It's playing the game in a different way. It's playing the game the hard way. But to me, when you get to the Chinese have an old proverb. There's no Chinese proverb which says, when you swallow an ox, don't choke on the tail. And that was a tail that was an oxtail soup that Dillian Whyte didn't have to have. But he had it. I disagreed with it, but he had it. And now...
But oxtail's very nice, Rafi.
Hey, oxtail on that particular occasion. Normally, yes, but on that particular occasion, I'd have said pass.
But look, they cooked it for the correct amount of time.
They cooked it.
And look what they came back with.
Yeah, second time around, they came back with a hell of a dainty dish. That was a hell of a dainty dish, second time around. So it worked out. But I'm a manager. I'm a promoter of a guy. I'm a promoter of a cat in Dillian Whyte's position. I'm saying, no, you take an easy touch. You take a soft touch. You take somebody who's a relatively soft touch for you, but he's got a bit of a name. He's done something recently. And that was Washington when he beat Elanius. He was the ideal He was the ideal opponent, but anybody, whatever. But he went for the hardest guy. To me, it was a mistake, but it's come good. He's corrected it. He's rectified it. He's rectified it with the help of his coaches, Xavier Miller, and they've latterly brought in Harold Knight. So yeah, it's worked out very, very well. Dillian Whyte, to me, let's talk about Dillian Whyte's performance now. Dillian Whyte, to me, looked devastating. Let's go to the Iron Kong to start off on that one. Dillian Whyte looked devastating. Iron Kong.
Yeah, man, Dillian Whyte came out aggressive. I really enjoyed it. What it shows is that, I mean, pretty much he picked up from the first fight. He was bossing the first fight, and he bossed this fight, right? So it wasn't like Dillian Whyte had a lot to really work on. I mean, of course, he had to defend certain things.
Yeah.
But I think he came out aggressive. He bossed this fight. He bossed the first fight, and he just dominated Alexander Povetkin. I thought it was a good win for Dillian Whyte. I'm not trying to hear nothing about Dillian Whyte fighting somebody who was shot to bits, because he had Alexander Povetkin down twice in the first fight. And when Povetkin stopped him, nobody said he was shot to bits. Everybody, oh, how dangerous Povetkin is. And he goes knock out Dillian. So Dillian Whyte knocks him out again. Oh, now he's shot to bits. You know what I'm saying?
He's 41.
Listen, 41. Man. If people like Luis Ortiz can be number 3 in the WBC, Luis Ortiz, who's a lesser fighter than Alexander Povetkin, and I don't want to hear no noise, right? I don't want to hear no noise. Luis Ortiz is out here being suspected of fixing fights, and I'm supposed to not give Dillian Whyte props. No. Dillian Whyte did that work. He eat that plate of food. Now it's onward and upwards.
Well, apparently,
also I've never eaten oxtail.
You have never eaten oxtail soup?
No, I don't eat snouts. I don't eat feet. I don't eat tails.
Okay, no snouts.
It's good for you, Iron Kong.
No snouts, no feet, no tail. No
it's good
snouts,
for you.
No feet, no tail.
Excellent source of collagen.
Yeah.
And the older we get, the more we need to stave off arthritis.
I've never been to college, so I don't know about the.
I don't believe that for a second. And there's a saying I tell my children, Iron Kong: lies make baby Jesus cry.
No, see, so this collagen you speak of, I mean, is that a diploma college? What's that?
Well, collagen is what your cartilage is made of. I think that's why oxtail is a good source of it.
I think. But so I'm just curious about what you haven't eaten. So cow foot soup is out of the question, clearly.
No, I never eat no hoof food, never eat no pig foot, cow foot. Never eat no pig snout, pig
I eat cow foot regularly.
No chicken foot soup.
No, boy. I used to feed chicken. I feed chicken foot to the puppy I had raw.
Yeah.
I don't eat pig ear, cattle tongue, none of them things there.
Yeah. So what do you tend to go for? Just barbecue chicken, like you were talking about earlier?
I like barbecue. I like a good barbecue chicken. I don't eat beef so much, and I don't like pig really in general. Yeah, but I usually just eat the main parts of the animal.
Yeah.
But nothing around the ass part.
So you avoid rump steak.
A rump
steak.
Yeah, you avoid rump steak.
I don't know why it's a rump steak, but I probably wouldn't eat it.
I've got a question for you, Iron Kong.
Yeah.
When you have saltfish, do you have it with ackee or do you not have it with ackee?
We don't have ackee here in St. Kitts.
Yeah. I know it's a Jamaican thing. It's just always interested me.
Always with ackee.
I know you'll eat it.
I never had ackee before.
You know something? When I was a kid, I didn't like ackee because it tasted of something. There's nothing else that you can say ackee tastes like this. There's nothing else that you can say ackee tastes like this. Ackee, for those who don't know, it's it's a vegetable, I guess.
It's a fruit. It's a fruit.
It's a fruit, grows on a tree. It's yellow. It's normally accompanied. It's a traditional Jamaican dish, accompanied normally by salt fish. Salt fish, fish preserved in salt to reactivate it, so to speak, to make it cookable. Obviously preserved, so it preserves fish. Salt being one of the oldest preservatives that we know, and it's preserved in salt, and then to use, it's soaked and then boiled, and then you get the saltfish with it. I mean, that's the saltfish. Then you get the ackee with it, traditionally accompanied by a green banana. And if you really want to be traditional, then you can put in a couple of slices of hard dough bread. And James, John Dealey is deliberately making the Rafi hungry. Okay, so
I eat saltfish every Sunday. I had saltfish today.
Dang. That's nice. It's a nice dish. But you know, the Jamaican way, we put the ackee with it, with the saltfish, and then have some hard old bread. And then it goes down tremendously.
What the hell is a haggis? What James asked me if I eat a haggis. What's a haggis?
Haggis. It's animals' intestines, or animals, or offal. It's offal. That's the brain. That's the kidney. That's the liver. All the little bits that you don't eat, wrapped up in the intestine, in a bag of intestine, and then they boil it. They boil that for hours.
Black pudding here, where it's like
it's a bit like black pudding. But the blood is replaced with all the different little bits of offal, the liver, the kidney, and wrapped in a bag of intestine. And it's a Scottish delicacy. It's a national dish. Correct me if I'm wrong, James. It's the national dish of Scotland, where James come from. Scotland, where Josh Taylor and James come from.
Well, that's where like I think it's 20% of my ancestry comes from Scotland. The Frasers. I told you that, right? So
James is still looking for the ancestral plaid.
I'm fine though. That's okay. I'll pass.
Yeah. OMG.
Sorry, my bad.
You see, I've heard this from people from St Kitts and Nevis that they don't eat ackee and saltfish, but people from the other islands do.
Oh, we don't have ackee here. We don't have no ackee trees here.
Yeah, no, you don't have ackee trees, but
I'm gonna get my people in Jamaica to send out some ackee seeds to Iron Kong in St Kitts, and
I know people from the Grenadines, Bajans. They eat ackee. They eat ackee.
In 10 years' time, Iron Kong, I predict Iron Kong from those seeds is going to become a mogul on the island of St.
Dr. Woodup, you are correct. Feet and those things are in fact slavery food.
Yes. Who said that?
Dr. Woodup.
Dr. Woodup. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, he's correct.
I'm not sure. Completely convinced about that.
Yeah, I think.
How much Nigerian food have you eaten, Kong?
Well, I can say if you
go to a Yoruba restaurant, they will be serving you assorted, which would contain tripe.
Right. What I'm saying, leftovers are usually foods that somebody who is poorer would eat. Right. So if you come from a period of enslavement, obviously the slave master would not eat that. So you would get those leftovers. And because we are, in fact, people that come from that region, we still know how to cook it.
Yeah, but here, so where I'm from in the UK, in the Black Country, people eat pig's faces, trotters, oxtail, tripe, lungs, brains.
What do you mean?
Huh?
When you say a pig face, what do you mean? A pig face?
The face.
The face. They
the whole face. You can eat the whole face, not everything.
There's muscle on the face and there's fat. Muscle and fat.
I know. Iseyu is, I don't know if I'm saying it properly, an Igbo dish. It's a high status dish. It's goat's head. My brother-in-law tried to freak me out by giving it to me, but it's nice. You didn't know that in the black country we eat or everything.
No doubt, no doubt about it. But yeah, I'm not eating no. I don't want to eat nothing that can look back at me. So I don't eat fish faces. I don't eat fish heads.
Fish head. You don't eat the fish eyes. You don't eat the delicacy of the fish eyes. OMG! You don't eat the fish eyes. You let the eyes go to waste.
You want me to dig out the fish eye and eat it?
No, we don't. The thing is,
no, you suck.
I'm a strong believer that a large reason that we're suffering with a lot of ailments now in modern societies because we don't eat the whole food, and that applies to both meat and vegetables.
I got you.
Start eating those fish eyes, those goat eyes, those delicacies.
Get them eaten.
Get it down ya. Get it down ya.
Hey, hey. Go ahead, next topic, because I don't want.
No, last on this subject. A builder that used to work for my father, who was from the Dudley area, he used to have brains sandwiches every day.
Brain sandwiches, brains, damn. And
that's food from over here. So
yeah, and we know that the Jakob-Krakov disease, more commonly known as, what was it called? Mad cow's
disease. Yeah,
the brain and the spinal column, which are included in all kinds of things. But I hear both arguments. I think we should.
But that's to do with being fed your own kind.
Yeah. That was messed up by a human. Introducing stuff in the cow chain, food chain, which shouldn't have been there. So that was human. That was a human created problem. Yes, indeed. So
I might be hypocrite though, because I have eaten on multiple occasions the testicles of a ram and cows.
Well, that's a delicacy over in the Caribbean and in Africa and in other parts.
So I might be a hypocrite. I'm not eating feet, but I eat balls, right? So.
Yeah. Were the balls of the ram in the Manish water? In the Manish water, I don't want to go too far off topic before we bring it back.
Well, it is a PED topic, Rafi.
Well, yeah. The first steroids were actually made from dogs' testicles.
Really?
Well, prior to that, in the ancient Greek Olympics, the athletes used to eat sheep's testicles in the belief that it would enhance their performance.
Okay, well, it could have been sheep's testicles that I read about. It could have been sheep's testicles, some kind of animal testicles, however. And to this day, in various parts of the world, including the West Indies, if you have a nice soup, sometimes the seed, the testicle of the ram will be included in the soup, so it will give you a testosterone boost. One would imagine if you're eating. Well, they did that in the ancient Olympics. So yeah, you got to have some increase in testosterone on that kind of those kind of ingredients included in your thing. But I've never actually eaten the soup and said, "Oh, let me have that bit of testicle." I don't know. It could be a little bit of potato for all one knows. But there we go, and we come off. Fish eyes, that's disgusting. You say it's easy to say, but when I buy fish down at Morrison's, they better have the eyes in there. It better be looking back. We better be able to look eye to eye. You know what I'm saying? That's like going to kick up a fuss. I'm going to kick up a stink in the fish aisle.
Well, I believe that Rafi's less likely to suffer from arthritis if he keeps eating the fish eyes. So it's all good.
Hey, I'm going to be eating the fish eyes until the day I pass away, till I pass over to the other side. Okay, off the dietary supplements now. I'm off the dietary supplements. I'm way behind on the chat. Sorry, folks, but I'm going to go along the chat and pick out a few comments, and then we're going to dive back into this shiznix, because you know how we do over here. We keep it moving. Okay, so it's a hell of a lot, too much for me to try and get into. But I'm just going to be picking out stuff. Okay, so the bar fight doctor is in the building, lurking around the building, won't come in. Okay, no problemo. I know. You know what? I look at the landscape and I see the moves. I see the moves. I never really played war games when I was a kid. You get your guys over here and then them guys over there, and you maneuver them. Never really did it. But as an adult, and certainly in the last few years, I see myself spotting movements, and I understand them. I realize I understand them. And I know when somebody's going to be in. I know when they're going to be out. I know why they're in. I know why they're out. And I know when they're coming back. But not necessarily knowing they're coming back. But I know when they dip out. And I know why. I can see the play. I understand people very, very well. We shouldn't have to be paying to watch people's debut. I think you're talking about the Hatton kid. Debut. I think there was other fights on the card. I hear you. Maybe that's a discussion for another time. I don't know. What's going on? Okay. Fight doctor saying hi to James. UFC knows nothing about marination. Boxing is the king of marinade. Yep. And that's a good thing. There is a certain amount of marination, but it don't marinate like it does in boxing to the point where the meat starts to go rotten. What's going on? So picking out comments. Kong, I'm Nigerian born in the UK. I am impressed, brother. He's impressed about something. Back then, that was about 10-15 minutes ago. I'm way behind on the chat. Dr. Wooduk is a Nigerian fella. I don't know. Dr. Wooduk, I can never place him. I can never really fully understand him. I don't know his modus operandi. There's some things I don't understand about Dr. Wooduk, but that's cool. The picture, the profile will develop and build. Where are we? Trying to copy Floyd. He built his brand on the O. That's the Mayweather genre. I'm glad I watched boxing before that. Yes, Lisa. What's going on? Jack Dempsey was bigger than baseball. They built 100,000 stadium just for him. Let's keep on moving. What's going on? U.S. boxing rut was started by Vlad, and Vitali kept going by Mayweather, and Wilder ended it. Once the world's best, now a world's joke. OMG. Is Fury getting stripped? Why the hell would Fury getting stripped? Why the hell would Fury be getting stripped? Fury will be fighting Anthony Joshua, all being well, this summer. What? Go take out Trevor Bryan and get the regular belt. You're talking about Wilder.
I'm talking about Whyte.
Yeah, I think he's talking about Dillian.
Dillian says Eddie wants to take Dillian to America, and Dillian said, well, just make the Trevor Bryan fight, I guess, because ain't no big fight's going to be immediately available for Dillian. So I guess Trevor Bryan is there.
That's a good move. If Trevor Bryan will have it, because Don King has been marinating Trevor Bryan and grooming him.
That purse may be big enough to cash Trevor out.
The purse may be big enough to make Don King say, okay, well, come talk to me. Yeah. All right, let's do this. That's possible. Dillian Whyte looks devastating against a 41-year-old heavyweight who needs to retire. Well, that's funny, isn't it? That's funny because if Povetkin was so washed up and so old and so pure, so poor, how come you guys like Wilder, you guys like Ortiz never scalped him? Because he's got a good name. He's got a big name. He was only beaten by Vladimir Klitschko. until Anthony Joshua beat him. And then he beat Dillian Whyte. And then Dillian Whyte beat him. So there's been years when you could have had him over there in the USA. There's years when you could have took advantage of his good name and his reputation. But you didn't do that. So how come he's no good?
Why is the Fight Doctor not coming on here to explain this?
Well,
Alexander Povetkin and Luis Ortiz are the same age.
Yeah.
They're like, same grade at school, same school year. They are the same age.
Hold on a second. That's the best case scenario for Ortiz, because Ortiz is at least.
Okay. All right.
That's
Okay.
the best case scenario.
His given age.
Yeah.
Let's just take it at face value.
Yeah. Okay. But also, just to cut you for a second, it's a good question. Why is the Fight Doctor shy about coming on and explaining his position? All of a sudden, recently, the Fight Doctor has become very, very shy about coming on and expressing his position. And it's very, very interesting. The link is there. Carry on, John Dealey.
And let's look at Luis Ortiz from an amateur point of view. This is a man who fought in the amateur heavyweight, not the amateur super heavyweight. And I think what's his best performance and attendance at a regional games, or Pan Am Games?
Okay.
Okay, let's compare that to Alexander Povetkin. Alexander Povetkin fought at super heavyweight in the amateurs. He's a world and Olympic champion. Super heavyweight. So the amateur resume, not even close. Luis Ortiz was effectively the B-string cruiserweight in the amateurs in the Cuban School of Boxing.
Okay.
Here we are. Excellent.
Interesting. But carry on nonetheless.
In the professional ranks, Luis Ortiz continued to build his resume by continuing to fight cruiserweights at the heavyweight limit, which is I'm going to put the blame on Golden Boy for that, because a lot of the cruiserweights that Deontay Wilder fought were when he was part of Golden Boy as well.
Yeah, sorry, James just made me laugh.
Chicken lips. Okay.
Iron Kong, have you heard this accusation?
How many
furious accusation?
How many top 10 heavyweights has Luis Ortiz beaten? As far as I'm aware, it is one in Bryant Jennings. Who's a fringe,
the best.
Top 10 heavyweight.
Top 10 at best.
I'm going to allow the Fight Doctor to have the floor now, because I'd be interested to hear his explanations.
Fight Doctor, introduce yourself, please, for those who don't know.
The bar fight doctor is in the house on bar fight status, as always.
What up, Fight Doctor?
Good evening, Fight Doctor.
Fight Doctor has not been heard. He's been writing. His Twitter fingers, his typing fingers have improved, but his voice has not been heard since being accused by Jalik, the leader, of being a bar fight doctor. But he's broken his silence here today on the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. So we have the privilege of hearing the Fight Doctor speak for the first time after the bar fight doctor allegations was leveled by Jalik, the leader. So the Fight Doctor, come in and state your case, please.
So first I want to say shout out to Iron Kong, shout out to Mr. Dilly, shout out to you, Rafi. So look, can I real quick address this whole bar fight situation? Accusation.
Bar fight. See, it's on his mind. It's on his mind. Well, since the first thing that's preeminent on your mind, the Fight Doctor. I don't know if that's got something to do with the mushrooms triggering that to be your first thought. But please continue.
So many years ago, I used to be a bouncer. At a Korean nightclub.
Okay.
And I must say that in all the bar fights I've ever seen, I will say that the best of them have been Korean bar fights.
Okay.
When they have a bar fight, they have a bar fight.
Okay.
And everybody participates, even the women.
Okay. I like that.
Most entertaining. All right.
I like the women getting involved, a bit of pushing and shoving, and you have to console them afterwards, carry on.
Yeah. When the Koreans, when they have a bar fight, they have a bar fight. And they are not messing around. Like, everybody participates. And I find Korean bar fights to be most entertaining. Look, there's nothing wrong with a good bar fight. Okay. So I don't understand why bar fights are getting all the hate.
Well, point well made and defended, Fight Doctor.
Point very well made and defended. I don't know if that applies to boxing, but yeah, cool.
All right. So now back on topic, right? So let's dissect what we saw yesterday.
Yeah.
If we may.
Please do.
Now,
are these views going to be tainted by mushroom type substances?
No, that was yesterday. Today I'm clear headed.
Okay.
So far.
Oh.
But the day is young. So here's what I saw. I saw Povetkin in like maybe the second and third round was outboxing Dillian Whyte. And now that's what I saw.
In the first fight.
Last night, yesterday.
Yesterday. What, Povetkin was out fighting Dillian Whyte?
I saw him outboxing Dillian Whyte for a couple of rounds. And I want to say it was maybe towards the middle end of round 3. Povetkin gets hit with a monster right hand.
Monster.
From Dillian Whyte.
What would that right hand have done to Deontay Wilder?
It might have put him down. I think the right hand that Dillian Whyte hit Povetkin with would have put most heavyweights down, if not out. It was a huge right hand.
Humongous.
And that was essentially the end of the fight, because after that, Povetkin was just, in my opinion, he had just been shifted to a different place.
A different dimension?
Yeah. And then, of course, there was a left hook, and then that was that. In the fourth, I think it was. And that was that.
That's what she wrote.
So, now, fight 1, you have a situation where Dillian Whyte controlled the narrative for the whole fight. And the only output that you see from Povetkin, the only effective output that you see from Povetkin that I remember is the knockout combination. The jab, lean to the left, uppercut, boom, fight over. So I don't think we really learned much. I think what we saw is what we should have seen in the first fight.
What did you see?
What did I see? I saw glimpses of Povetkin from his prime in the first couple of rounds, and then he gets hit with a big punch, and then it's pretty much over. The fight is over. Like, the first big punch Povetkin gets hit with is essentially what altered the course of the fight. It shifted the momentum into Dillian Whyte's favor, and then the fight was over. Dillian Whyte hit him with a left hook, fight over.
So the first, your statement is that the first big shot that Povetkin got hit by, the fight was over. That's what you're trying to say.
What I'm saying is that in, I believe it was the third round, Dillian Whyte hits Alexander Povetkin with a monster right hand. And that shifted, because up until that point, the momentum was easing in Povetkin's favor, because I thought that he was doing a good job at hitting Dillian Whyte and not getting hit. He was outboxing him. All right. It wasn't like complete one-sided domination, but you had one guy in Povetkin doing what he wanted to do, and at the same time, he was preventing Dillian Whyte from doing what he wanted to do. So the effective aggression that I saw, the effective aggression coming from Povetkin in those first couple of rounds. And he had essentially nullified what Whyte wanted to do, right? And I mean, it was almost like a flip flop of the first fight, where you had Dillian Whyte being the effective aggressor in the first fight, and Alexander Povetkin not being able to do anything until the knockout punch. Well, that was almost like the same scenario played out, but in reverse in the second fight. Well, at least what I saw.
Pray continue. You're giving us your assessment. Or anybody can jump in, by the way, because I'm doing multiple things. Anybody can jump in. Okay, continue. So, okay, let me move it around. Okay, so am I hearing you correctly when you say? The first big shot that Povetkin got hit by was the end of the fight? Am I hearing you correctly?
What I'm saying, so here's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the first big punch, that right hand that Dillian Whyte clocked Povetkin with, and I believe it was the third round, that was the beginning of the end.
Okay.
I thought after that punch, Povetkin was no longer able to do what it is he wanted to do. He was no longer effective. He had at that point, the momentum shifted from Povetkin to Dillian Whyte. That's what I saw.
Okay. How did you gauge Dillian Whyte's performance overall?
Overall?
Yeah. Where do you rank him in the top 10? Where do you rank Dillian Whyte in the top 10? After this,
I think he should be number 4, number 5 in the world.
Give me a countdown. Count me down from 1 to 5.
All right, so right now I would make Fury 1, I would make Joshua 2, I would make Wilder 3, Ruiz 4, and Whyte number 5.
Okay, so
that's where I would.
Okay, so there's an argument.
That's where I would put it.
Okay, so there's an argument that Whyte should be. There's an argument that Whyte should be number 3. Why do you disagree with that argument?
Well, I mean, so losses count, and I think when you look at overall, I mean, so Andy Ruiz is coming off the loss to Anthony Joshua. So if you want to put Dillian Whyte number 3, I guess there's no real argument against that. I necessarily wouldn't argue in favor of it, because I think at the end of the day, losses count, but then so do wins. And when I ask the question, who has Dillian Whyte beaten? It seems that it's looking like his best win to date is Alexander Povetkin. Okay, a 40-year-old heavyweight who needs to retire. Whereas Andy Ruiz's best heavyweight is the guy who's number 2 on my list. So, I don't know that I would argue against having Whyte number 4 or number 3, but I wouldn't argue in favor of it.
You wouldn't argue in favor of it, and you wouldn't argue against it. John Daly, what's your top 5 or top? Yeah, go on. Top 5.
Current top 5.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me just bring up the WBC current rankings so that people can see what's crack-a-lacking, and maybe could act as a guide. Maybe not, but at least
Yeah, I tell you what. Listen, the WBC
thing is,
ranking,
for me, the number 1 spot is vacant until Joshua and Fury fight each other.
Right.
So if you want to pick Fury as number 1, that's fine. I think Joshua has a claim to the spot as well. I certainly would not have Usyk there. I don't think he's done anything to show me at heavyweight that he belongs any higher than the top 10 at best. He's beaten a gatekeeper so far, and it wasn't that convincing. So Joshua and Fury 1 and 2, whichever way around you want to have it, is fine with me. I think in third spot, going into this fight, I did actually have Povetkin in third spot anyway.
Right.
So on that basis, I would put Dillian in third spot. I'm not really sure where I'm putting Wilder and Ruiz. because I think they're both still top 10 heavyweights, but they're coming off losses.
Mm.
And I want to see how they come back from their losses before I really put them in there.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Hunter, you got Joyce, you got Ruiz, you've got Wilder fighting around for those other 2 spots in the top 5.
Yeah.
If people wanted to go Wilder and Ruiz because they're former champions, I'm okay with that. But Joyce is unbeaten, and you know he's working his way up the rankings.
Yeah. And Hrgovic and
they need to do more.
Well, they're fighting next, aren't they? So Hrgovic and Hunter are fighting next.
Yeah. Again, there's no way they're top 5, even if they beat each other.
Yeah, that's true.
I think they just knock the other one out of the top 10 and maybe get into the 10th position.
Yeah. So give me your top 5.
So top 5, let's just say for argument's sake, Fury, Joshua, Povetkin, Wilder, Ruiz. I'm happy with that as a top 5.
Fury, Joshua, Povetkin. Where's Povetkin?
Sorry, Whyte.
Fury.
Yeah. Going into the fight, it was Povetkin, but on the basis that Dillian's just beat him.
So Fury, Joshua, Fury 1, Joshua 2, Whyte 3. Who's 4?
I'll have Wilder at 4, and then Andy Ruiz.
And then Andy Ruiz. Wilder, and then Andy Ruiz. Okay. Who else? It's Iron Kong. Let's have your top 5 WBC. What your top 5 WBC looks like?
WBC?
Yeah.
Well, top 5 heavyweights for me is Anthony Joshua. I'm not gonna have no disrespect of Femi. You're not gonna sit here and tell me no nonsense about how Furies and Anthony Joshua don't make habits of fighting the best leather tanners from Serbia or wherever. Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte, Deontay Wilder, and I guess Andy Ruiz, right?
Run that by me again. Let me visualize that.
Anthony Joshua, Oluwafemi.
Yeah.
Luke.
Yeah.
Dillian.
Yeah.
Wilder.
Yeah.
And then Andy Ruiz, right? Because if Andy Ruiz's best win is Anthony Joshua, then Dillian Whyte beat the guy who beat Andy Ruiz, Joseph Parker, right? So Dillian Whyte is number 3. So I'm not sitting here saying nothing about Tyson Fury number 1. He ain't no number 1, okay? You ain't gonna just come back in the game when you feel like it, get in and get out when you feel like it and be number 1 heavyweight, okay?
Beat an untested champion to become number 1 heavyweight.
And I'm not going to put Andy Ruiz in front of Deontay Wilder because as much as Deontay Wilder got spanked by Tyson Fury, he didn't disgrace himself by coming in out of shape for the I don't know what was wrong with him, if something was wrong with him. He didn't disgrace. He came in to fight. He got beat up. He disgraced himself after that. Andy Ruiz disgraced himself in a rematch with Anthony Joshua. So he's not going to be in front of Deontay Wilder. No.
Okay. So I guess I'd best give my top 5 WBC, and it reads as number 1, Anthony Joshua. Why? Because he's been a unified champ for the last 3 years, 3.5 years, minus a 6-month spell where he lost to Andreas the Ponce Ruiz. So Anthony Joshua's number 1, and Tyson Fury's number 2, because he's beaten an untested, unproven champion in the form of Deontay Wilder. So number 1, Anthony Joshua. Number 2, Tyson Fury. Number 3, replacing Povetkin is the guy who just beat Povetkin in the form of Dillian Whyte. Number 3. Number 4, I will go with Deontay Wilder. Even though he's untested, relatively untested, he was champion for 5 years. Yes, his competition was poor, but we'll give him something for fighting poor competition for 5 years as a champion. That's 4. And then 5, Andy Ruiz comes in at 5 because he did beat the unified champion. Even though he lost immediately in the rematch, he did ascend to the level of king. He did become king, even though it was just for a little while.
All right, so I have a question.
No, well, I want to hear your top five first. Top five first, and then your question.
No, wait, I gave you my top five already. So we can recap. So Fury, yeah, but we can recap. No worries. So Fury, Joshua, Wilder, Ruiz, Whyte. That would be my top five.
Why is Wilder still up at 3 when he hasn't fought for a year?
Wait, that's not the question we need to be asking, right? We can get to that, but the question we need to be asking is, right? Now, so you have accused Tyson Fury of having fought an untested, unproven champion, right?
Yes.
Which begs the question, and that's the reason why you rank him below Joshua, yes?
The reason I rank him below Joshua is because he's just lost, he's just lost.
Wait, Tyson Fury lost?
Oh, you're talking about? Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about Deontay Wilder. The reason I rank Tyson Luke Fury under Anthony Joshua is because his activity levels in the top 10 fight. He hasn't fought the top until he hasn't beat a top 10 in 5 years. He hadn't beat a top 10 in 5 years until he beat Deontay Wilder. So in layman's terms, Tyson Fury has only beaten a consensus top 10 guy once in the last 5 years. Yes, that's why I place him beneath Anthony Joshua. It's one of the factors.
Right,
yes.
but you just got done accusing Tyson Fury of having beaten an untested, unproven champion. Yes?
Yeah, there's no paradox in what I've just said.
Okay, so here's my question, right? So now if you're going to accuse, now we need to be consistent with our logic, yes? Now, if you're going to accuse Tyson Fury of having beaten an untested, unproven champion, then I think that same accusation needs to be levied against Anthony Joshua.
Ridiculous.
Well, okay, so then tell me, who is the proven?
Stop right there. Stop right there. Save your words, because they're unnecessary. Because I know what you're going to say. Okay. So Alexander Povetkin, big win. Had only been beaten before. Anthony Joshua beat him once, and that was at the hands of Vladimir Klitschko.
All right, wait, sir, wait, hold on. You're not answering the question that was asked.
Answering your question.
So,
I'm answering your question. So
no, sir. The question may I restate? May I restate the question? May I repeat the question, please?
Olympic.
Yeah, may I repeat the question, please?
Olympic gold medalist, ex-WBA regular champion, only being beaten by Vladimir Klitschko until Anthony Joshua knocked him out, and never been knocked out until Anthony Joshua knocked him out. Higher caliber opponent than almost everybody on Deontay Wilder's resume, apart from Tyson Luke Fury. So only second to Tyson Luke Fury, arguably. But better resume.
The question was, and let me repeat the question. The question was, who is the proven, tested champion that Joshua has beaten?
Okay, I want to take this one, please, Rafael.
No, Vladimir Klitschko is obviously the obvious one. Vladimir Klitschko is the obvious one.
I want to take this on, please.
Yeah.
So I agree that Anthony Joshua has not fought and proven, tested champions, like as the criteria that we're discussing. However, unlike Tyson Fury, he's beaten 3 unproven champions, whereas Tyson's beaten 1. Last time I checked, 3 was a bigger number than 1.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here's my question.
Within the last 5 years, he's beaten Charles Martin, Joseph Parker, and Andy Ruiz. Those are 3 world champions. In the last 5 years, Tyson Fury's beaten 1 world champion.
The Fight Doctor, please come in.
Well, actually, That's one way you can look at it. I would change that. I would take that word champion and remove it and replace it with the word titleist. If they were not champions, they were titleist. And that
So in the last 5 years, that includes Tyson Fury. Okay. Well, whichever way you want to look at it, they're top-rated fighters, aren't they? So Tyson's fought 1, and Joshua's fought 3.
But now, the question wasn't regarding their status as a titleist. The question was more so regarding who has been tested and proven. I think that's more important than holding a title.
But in the last 5 years, Tyson hasn't fought anybody.
Anthony Joshua has consistently been fighting top-ranked opponents.
Yeah, but the criteria that you are that all right. So you're going to
your criteria fight though.
I never said
wait a minute, that wasn't my criteria.
I never said
your criteria gets very tiresome, Fight Doctor, because irrespective of how far in the past it was, for you, in your opinion, which I don't agree with, Vladimir Klitschko is the lineal type world champion. Therefore, until he gets beaten, Tyson Fury is the world champion, irrespective of drug bans, irrespective of retirements, all these sort of things. The people that organize and monitor the lineal championship all have different criteria about how it works. A large number of them, and there's actually more of them than there are sanctioning bodies, consider a lineal title to end at a retirement. So Tyson Fury retired. Therefore, he was no longer the lineal champion. And that's according to Mike DeLisa. I'm assuming that you do know who Mike DeLisa is, because I've got an email from him confirming that to me. And Rafi can confirm it because he's in the email.
I've received the email.
Okay, all right, so wait. Sorry, all right, there are two things at work here. All right, so let's clear some things up. So first, it wasn't my criteria that we were using. It's Rafi's criteria. So Rafi accused Tyson Fury of having fought a quote unquote untested, unproven champion. So that was the criteria that Rafi set for Tyson Fury
in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
In the last 5 years, which is an important part of that criteria.
Yeah,
that's fine. That's fine. All right. So first, let's have some clarity. So that's the criteria that Rafi was using. That wasn't my criteria, right? So my question is, all right, what part of that criteria is the most important? Is it the champion part or is it the unproven, untested part? That's my first question. Now, second, I'm fine with taking the lineal title and set it to the side because, John, I think you and I both can agree that at the time Fury fought Klitschko, Klitschko was unquestionably the number one guy in the division. Can we agree?
I'm happy with that. He was the number one, yeah.
All right, so then let's just deal with that. All right, let's take lineal, set it to the side, and we can agree that Vladimir Klitschko on the night of the Tyson Fury fight was the number one guy in the world when he walked into the ring, and when Fury walked out of the ring that night, he walked out as the number one heavyweight in the world. Can we agree?
Yeah, I'll go along with that.
Yep.
All right. And retirements, if you guys want to say that Tyson Fury was retired, I have no problem. I will not argue against that.
Yeah.
What about a ban for taking nandrolone, which is a banned PED substance, which is in actual fact a steroid? What about that?
Listen, that if in my mind, that doesn't play any role in terms of what actually what is recorded in record books. Now, if you guys want to say that he is undeserving of being the number one heavyweight in the world on the suspicion that he's cheating, I'm open to that conversation.
It wasn't a suspicion, so he was found guilty by a governing body in the UK, and he accepted the findings of that process.
Yes.
It's not a court of law.
Yes.
So Tyson Fury didn't contest it and accepted a retrospective 2-year ban for consuming nandrolone.
Yes.
That is a matter of fact.
Yes.
That's fine. All right, I tell you what. Let's just take the Fury Vladimir Klitschko fight off the table, right? Let's just take it off. I mean, you guys like to ignore that fight, not as if it didn't happen. So I'm fine with that.
Let me just come in here and try and wrap this up because this ain't gonna get us nowhere. But let me try and wrap this up in a simple 2 sentences. Okay, so Joshua fought higher ranked opponents than either Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder in the last 5 years. That is what I'm saying.
Okay, well, let me ask this question. Let me pose this question to both of you. All right.
Okay, yeah.
Tell me what fight on Joshua's resume in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Tell me what win on Joshua's resume in the last 5 years is better than Fury knocking out Deontay Wilder.
Well, no, that's Vladimir Klitschko, but that's not the point, though. That's not the point, because it's not a question of who has the best win. I said who has collectively the best resume. So that's not about who has the best.
Klitschko fight happened in the last 5 years? When was the Klitschko fight?
Yeah, about
2016, 17 possibly.
215.
So, yeah.
215. Sorry?
I'm sure it's 16.
So that fight happened in February of 2015. So that's more than 5 years old. So then that fight needs to come off the table.
The fight.
Oh, well, we'll take it off the table.
The Klitschko Fury fight happened, I believe, in September 2015.
Okay, so that fight is more than 5 years old. So that fight needs to come off the table. So my question, I asked the question again.
I don't think you heard what Rafi said fight after. He said the Fury Klitschko fight happened in September 2015. Not the AJ fight.
So you're taking the Tyson Fury Vladimir Klitschko fight off the table. So be it. Continue.
Okay, so when did Joshua Klitschko happen? When was that fight?
When did Joshua
I'll
Klitschko
fact
happen?
check it now. I think it's February 2017, but I'm gonna double check.
Yeah. You're right. You're right about 217. I thought you was talking about Fury and Klitschko. So yeah, 217. Let me bring it up on the screen so everyone can see. Let me stop sharing that and start sharing this. Okay, so
29th of April 2017.
Okay, so this is Vladimir Klitschko. You can all see that on your screens. You can all see that on your screens. Hold on. Let me just do something here. Now, so we go down to what the hell's going on here? There's Klitschko. Yeah. So Anthony Joshua, there's the date. 2017, April. Tyson Fury, 11th, like I said, the 28th of the, so it was November. Okay, so 28th of November, I thought it was September, 2015. That's when Tyson Fury fought Klitschko. But you say you want that off the list. Okay, that comes off the list. So
no, that's not what I say. That's what you say. You always have this 5 year timeline. This 5 year, like 5 years going back.
Okay, so it's off the list. Okay, so it's off the list then. Continue. Continue.
So whenever we discuss, here's the deal, right? So whenever we discuss Tyson Fury, you always want to frame the discussion within the time frame that excludes the Fury, that excludes the Wilder fight.
It's not a problem. You can put Tyson Fury back in. You're the one who said you wanted him out. You can put him back in.
No, sir. That's not what I said. That's how you love to frame the conversation.
Well,
all right? You always love to frame the conversation.
Let's keep it moving. Let's get to the point. Let's get crack-a-lacking. Let's get crack-a-lacking. Let's go.
Because the minute we start talking about resumes, you always want to talk about Tyson Fury's resume in the context of excluding the Klitschko fight. So
let's go.
All right. So then if we're going to include the Klitschko fight, then let me amend my question. All right.
Okay.
Tell me what win on Olafime's how do you pronounce it?
Olafemi.
I hope you haven't.
Olafemi. I'll ask you a question.
On what fight on Olafime's resume is better than the Klitschko win?
The Klitschko win for Fury. Joshua's clean win over Klitschko. So Fury beat Klitschko when he shouldn't have been in the ring. Joshua beat Klitschko when he should have been in the ring. Fury should not have been in the ring against Klitschko. It should be a no contest. I've said it time and time again because he popped dirty for Christian Hammer, which was 6 months before the Christian before the Vitali fight, and he shouldn't have been in the ring. So Joshua's win over Klitschko to me was a clean win. He never tested positive for nothing. And before the fight, never tested positive for anything after the fight. So Joshua's win over Klitschko is superior to Tyson Fury's win over Klitschko. That is what I'm saying. Back to you. What's your point?
My point is that your logic is inconsistent. All right.
Why? Why?
That's number one. Because at the end of the day, would have, could have, should have, that does not apply. What matters is what happened.
Would have, could have, should have. I'm talking about.
Hold on, fight. This is not a would have,
on.
could have, should have situation. Should an athlete be found guilty of a drug offense, fights get turned into no contests on the back of that. Is that true?
That's true, of course.
Okay.
But
Tyson Fury
happened here.
Accepted the judgment of the case against him and the 2-year ban, the retrospective 2-year ban, which would have covered the Vladimir Klitschko fight. You do understand that, don't you? So
that is not what basis. Wait a minute.
That is the basis. So it's not Rafi's logic that's inconsistent. It's actually the governing bodies who've been inconsistent with this.
Well, my question here is, what is the result of Fury Klitschko recorded as? What is the result of that fight?
It is a win for Fury.
Okay. Now, is that result in danger of being changed?
Yes.
It is?
Of course. I will be lobbying for a change. Not anything against Tyson Fury, but the principle that John just outlined stands, and it should be a no contest.
Okay. When the result of that fight is changed, then I will deal with it as such at that time. But right now, the result of that fight is Tyson Fury W.
Okay, so continue with your question because you still haven't answered.
Okay, so if the result of that fight is Tyson Fury W, and look, I agree with all the drug testing stuff. Okay, I agree with all that. However, the result of the fight is Tyson Fury W. So that's what we have to deal with. Yes?
Carry on. Ask the question, please. We're going to get to it. Ask the question. Okay,
so I think here that you guys are, doing a lot of logistical hurdling and acrobatics. Because look, not only does Fury have the win over Klitschko, but he also has the win over Wilder. So my question is exactly who has Joshua beaten? Now you go to the Klitschko win.
If that's your question, let me answer your question.
I'm asking the question. So you go to you hold up the Wilder Klitschko win for Joshua as if it were somehow extraordinary, while ignoring the fact that A, Klitschko's coming off a loss, B, coming off a long layoff. All right, you ignore those two facts, right? But you're quick to talk about the fact that
ask your question, please. Please ask your question, please.
My question is, who has Joshua beaten?
Okay,
that's my question.
Thank you. Okay, so Joshua has beaten. Screen sharing was okay. Joshua has beaten Alexander Povetkin, Kubrat Pulev, Joseph Parker, Charles Martin, and Vladimir Klitschko, and Takam, and Dillian Whyte. I'm not even going to include Breezel.
Yep. None of those guys were at the top of the heavyweight division when Joshua beat them.
All of those guys were consensus.
Hold on a minute.
Top 10.
Hold on a minute. So 2 of them were 3 of them were mandatories. So they were certainly ranked in the top 10.
No. Okay. Being in the top 10 is different from being a top heavyweight.
No. Right? Now we're talking about this is something that I needed to explain to you, Fight Doctor, because I don't think you understand it. Facts and opinions are not the same thing. So we are discussing.
No, we can.
No, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. You did a lot of talking. I think it's time to do some listening now.
All right, I'm listening.
Good. We are discussing an opinion-based list. Rafi is giving you the basis and the logic for his opinion, which is legitimate. The basis for your opinion is also has logic and legitimacy. However, it's just opinion. You can't be correct because it's an opinion. Do you agree with
So here's my all right. So yeah, here's the here's the problem. Here's where you guys are doing your
No, I don't think you listen to
logical.
My list actually has the top spot vacant. My list has the top spot vacant until Joshua and Fury fight each other.
Okay. Did I say anything contrary?
No. But you keep saying you guys. So actually, we have 3 different lists.
So the statement I made.
Different logical arguments.
So here's the statement I made.
All the logic is based on opinion, not fact.
Right. All right. So here's the statement I made. Right. The statement I made was when you guys were reading off the list of Joshua's heavyweight accomplishments. Statement I made was none of those guys were top heavyweights when he beat them.
They were all top heavyweights when he beat them.
Hold on a second. Wait, hold on. Wait.
They've all been ranked in the top 10 across all bodies.
Yeah, listen, being a top 10 heavyweight is different from being a top 2 heavyweight. Has Joshua
you said
has Wilder ever beat a top 2? Has he ever beat a top 2?
Well, the answer is no.
Wait. Fury has. He's done it twice.
Yes, but as Wilder.
Joshua has not beaten a top 2 heavyweight. He hasn't. He hasn't beaten a heavyweight in the top 2. I'm sorry. He's never done that.
Of course he has. He beat Klitschko.
Klitschko was not a top 2 heavyweight at the time he beat him. No, he was not. I'm sorry, he wasn't.
He was anyway. Okay, fine. So let's give you the top 2. What's your point?
My point is that your argument that Joshua somehow has a better resume than Tyson Fury.
Yeah, overall.
No, I'm sorry, he does not.
But this is an opinion-based thing.
You're crushed. No, you're crushed. You're crushed. I'll tell you why you're crushed. Hold on. I'll tell you why you're crushed. I'll tell you why you're crushed. Because I have repeated and reiterated amply that I'm talking about top-rated heavyweights. You're talking about top 2. No. There are top-rated heavyweights outside of the top 2 spot. So I'm not
disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with that.
I've won the argument. My point stands. I'm talking about top 10. You're talking about top 2. I have won the argument.
Listen, at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, Joshua has beaten the B list of heavyweights. But he has no A-list heavyweight on his resume. I'm sorry.
He's beaten higher ranked opponents than Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder overall.
Wait. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Wait, sir. No, Look, he's beaten a string of B-list heavyweights. Nobody's arguing against that. All right. My argument.
How the hell is preventing?
Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Let me finish.
How the hell is Kubrat Pulev?
Let me finish.
How the hell is just the reigning Joseph Parker
WBO? If I may be allowed to finish.
Your view is that the Vladimir Klitschko and Deontay Wilder victories, which is 2 victories, put Tyson Fury ahead of everybody else. That's fine. But that's an opinion. It's not a fact. This is definitely a fact. Tyson Fury has never defended a heavyweight title, ever. Traditionally, you are not a champion until you defend your titles. I am fully aware that you are a student of history.
I thought we took the lineal title argument off the table.
Exactly. He's never defended a heavyweight title.
Well, you don't have to defend the heavyweight title in order to be the number 1 heavyweight in the world, right? I don't remember that being a criteria for being the number 1 heavyweight in the world. To be the number 1 heavyweight in the world.
What's your criteria then?
Well, if you beat the number 1 guy, you take his spot, and I think that we've seen Tyson Fury do that.
Indefinitely, because I know Lennox Lewis is still alive.
That was not the argument I made.
Lennox Lewis is alive.
That's not the argument I made.
He's currently commentating on fights. How long do you carry this on for?
Your strawman argument. Your strawman argument is not going. Yeah, it is.
Because there has to be a cutoff point.
Wait. First and foremost, I never made the argument. See, this is your strawman argument, and we're about to deconstruct it. I never make the argument that beating number one.
Okay, so
There's a gun.
He's still here.
Yeah, nice try, but we're not having it. Okay, I'm sorry, but no, that's not. Right. You never heard me make that argument. The argument I'm making is this: is that Tyson Fury has beaten a number one or number two heavyweight in his career. He's done that twice in his career. Joshua has yet to do that. All right, Joshua.
So in your opinion, that puts Tyson Fury in a better position. That's fine. Do you know why it's fine? Because they're going to fight each other, and these questions are going to get answered.
I hope they do fight each other, but the way it's looking, it's not going to happen anytime soon.
I don't agree with that. Eddie Hearn has been promoting the fight that we've just had in Gibraltar, and he's put a lot of work and effort into it. I don't know if you've seen all the production that we've seen over here on Sky, on DAZN, but they have actually put a lot of work. He's been very busy promoting this fight, and I think it's been a pay-per-view success. I definitely paid for it. I don't know yet, the numbers are out, but I suspect it has been. Eddie has said that he's going to have the meetings next week at the sites to determine who's real, who's giving the best offer, and then he's going to present the offers to the fighters so that they can get it agreed and signed within the 28-day deadline that he set.
You want to come back on that, Fight Doctor?
So I will answer that by saying this: no venue, no date, no fight. So
no venue, no date, no fight wasn't a problem. Wasn't a problem for Fury Tyson, for Fury Wilder first time around. So please do not.
It took 2 months for them to come up with a date.
Come back with some argument about no date, no date.
It's worse than that. It's worse than that, Rafi, because this 28-day deadline is a self-imposed deadline by Eddie Hearn. When Tyson Fury and Eddie Hearn's the one who put the deadline in there.
Yeah.
Wait, that deadline is not self-imposed. So
who the hell imposed it then?
The WBO's mandatory is looming large. Okay,
well, that's why they put it in there.
That's why they self-imposed a 28-day deadline for offers.
The WBO has imposed a deadline because the WBO is going to order their mandatory.
You want to look at it. It took 2 months for Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, after announcing their fight, to come up with a date and venue. That is a matter of record. Why is this such a focus for you currently when it was absolutely fine when Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder was announced for the first fight?
What does Fury Wilder have to do with?
Because they announced the fight, they said it was signed, and then it took them a further 2 months to come up with a date and a venue. And this is your issue that you keep bringing up regarding Fury.
It's not my issue.
We're gonna start.
You keep bringing it up.
We're gonna start using the clock until we get this matter resolved. Okay. And I'm gonna bring the clock. I'm getting the clock out now. I'm getting the clock out. You forced me, the Fight Doctor. You forced my hand. I don't like to get the clock out, but I'm getting the clock out. We're gonna resolve this. No spinning around and no dancing around is going to work this time, because let me see if you can see my clock. There we are. Okay. So the Fight Doctor, we're going to resolve this matter, and we are starting with my. Okay. So boom, this clock has started. Okay. So pure and simple. The resume is not dependent on your one best win. A resume. Damn, if I need to go around, I'll bring up the definition. Should have done that now. Your resume is your body of work, and Anthony Joshua's body of work is superior to that of Deontay Wilder and superior to that of Tyson Fury. Boom. Let's stop the clock. Let's stop the clock. Pause. So, and then clear. I need to bring that down. I did that in 35 seconds. I think I'm bringing that down to 35 seconds. That was my clear. Back. 45 clear. 35. I did it in 35. That's the standard. That's the gold standard. 35 seconds set and the fight doctor. Off you go.
Wait, I'm supposed to get 45 seconds, sir.
No.
45 seconds.
No. I use 35. You get 35.
Okay, yeah, but the standard was 45 seconds, sir. I prepared a 45-second rebuttal, and then, as per usual, you move the goalpost. Okay, so no, sir.
I'm assuming you had your paralegal ferreting through vast array of documentation to prepare this response.
There's your 45. There's your 45 set. I'm going to give you a counting before I start the clock. 3, 2, 1.
Thank you. Now that the bar has been put back to where it was previously, thank you very much. It's quite simple. You have Joshua having beat a string of B-list opponents, but no A-list wins on his resume, and of course the knockout loss. So a resume is his entire body of work. Losses count. And I think when you factor in the loss and you factor in Fury's resume and having beaten the one on number 2 best heavyweight in the world on 2 separate occasions, that puts him ahead of Joshua and everyone else. Period.
John
I could do this in under 35 seconds.
Sorry, hold on. Let me clear and start again. I'm going to use counting 3, 2, 1.
Currently, any top-rated list is opinion-based because the number 1 and the number 2, whichever order you have it, haven't fought. They're going to fight, so we will find out who is the best heavyweight. Any list at the moment is based on opinion. Opinions are not facts. Therefore, they don't really matter. We're going to have a fight, we're going to have a winner, and we will have factually who is the best.
Okay. So James, John came in, same as me, 35, just under the 35-second mark. Okay. And
in all fairness to the fight doctor, he didn't really start talking until 35 seconds ago.
Yeah, I know. He wound down the clock to 35. Okay, so that wraps up that section. You've heard everybody have their say. I say your best win is your resume is not about your best win, it's about your best overall. The fight doctor says the opposite. It's about your top win. John Dealey says it's opinion based, so it don't really matter. They're gonna fight soon, and we gon' find out. Well said, John said. Scott, I like the clock. Yeah, hey, it solved the problem right here, killed it dead. Everyone's got their opinion, and everybody's opinion is made very crystal clear because the clock works. What do you say here? For you, 45 seconds to go. Did you hear it on the radio? I was playing that song just the other day. You got 21
I think that's a UK culture-based thing. I'm not sure.
Yeah. What was it? What's it? So Solid Crew. 21 seconds to go. Check it out at your leisure. As a matter of fact, I'm going to write it in. So Solid Crew, 21 seconds. Okay, so that's the tune and that's the band. They were riding high in the hit parade about 20 years ago. Okay, so we wrapped that up, and let's take the clock down. We wrapped that up, and okay, so now we got people's current top 5. You know, mine is, or really it's about the top 3. You know, mine is Joshua, Fury, Whyte. I think John Daly's is Joshua, Fury, Whyte.
I have the top spot vacant. I don't really care
Oh.
who you have as number one, because as far as I'm concerned, we definitely know who the best two are.
Yeah.
And they're interchangeable.
Yeah, they're interchangeable. They're interchangeable. And the fight doctors, give me some more time. I need 21 seconds to make it right. And the fight doctor's view is that I think you've got Tyson Fury is number one, Anthony Joshua is number two, and Deontay Wilder as number three. Okay. So fine. So we're looking at Rumble on the Rock. What's this thing? Rumble on the Rock. Hold on. You mean tell me I didn't change it over? I didn't change this damn scroller over to what it should have been this whole damn time? Let me correct that right now because it's pertinent to what I'm about to say.
So wait, before we move on, there's one other issue I want to address. Now, I thought I heard something earlier, some talk about big fights not being made in America.
Correct. Talk on that.
Go for it.
Well, wait. So what big fights have not been made in America?
What the hell are you trying to talk about?
Crawford.
Everybody knows.
Spence Crawford. That's
Spence Crawford.
According to ESPN, a bigger fight than Joshua Fury. When is that going to be made, Fight Doctor? Please enlighten me.
Yeah.
No time soon. Didn't we just see a year ago? Didn't we just see Wilder Fury?
Mm-hmm.
Was that not a big fight? Did that fight happen on this side of the pond?
He was Wilder ducking Dillian Whyte and Wilder ducking.
Yeah, there's an argument to say that was a cherry pick gone wrong. Those are Tyson Fury's words, not mine.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently it made a loss and didn't crack 1 million pay-per-views. What's your definition of a big fight, Doctor? Please.
So wait. So, big fight is subjective. So, are you guys arguing that the Fury rematch was a cherry pick and B not a big fight? Is that what you guys are arguing?
The whole thing was a cherry pick on both sides. Deontay Wilder cherry picked Tyson Fury because he just come off the couch. And Tyson Fury cherry-picked Deontay Wilder because Deontay Wilder has limited skills. Okay,
so then that begs the question. If, in fact, Wilder cherry-picked Tyson Fury, then please explain why Joshua isn't doing the same.
He made an offer to Deontay Wilder, several offers, and Deontay Wilder walked away from the DAZN table, walked away from a $120 million dollar offer, and his excuse was because they're not telling me what Joshua is earning. Said it out of his own mouth. Shelly Finkel said it out of his own mouth. They all said it out of their own respective mouth.
1 minute, Rafa. I think what the Fight Doctor is actually saying is that Anthony Joshua is cherry picking Tyson Fury now. I'm going to answer that question, Fight Doctor. Is that your question?
Well, don't ask.
So my question is, and thank you, John, for stepping up to the plate because Mr. Dawkins is obviously ducking the question. So I will restate the question a second time. All right. If it is, Mr. Dawkins, I hope you're listening. If it is your argument that Wilder cherry-picked Tyson Fury, then why is Joshua not doing the same? That's my question.
I can answer that question. Anthony Joshua has said for years now, since he was in possession of 3 world titles, that he wanted to become undisputed. After the Pulev fight, he said he doesn't care who has a WBC belt. He wants the belt. That's the reason for the fight.
So then it is a cherry pick.
No.
It's a unification fight.
It's a unification.
Something that Deontay Wilder's never been involved in.
Yeah.
Nor has Tyson Fury.
Nor has Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury has never defended a belt, and Deontay Wilder has never unified.
All Tyson Fury has done is challenge a unified heavyweight champion, and then not honored the rematch and been stripped of all of his titles.
So let me get this straight. So Deontay Wilder fights Tyson Fury, cherry pick. Anthony Joshua fights Tyson Fury, unification fight.
Okay, I'll explain the logic to you. There are 3 points to consider. first of all, Anthony Joshua doesn't care who's in possession of the title. He wants to get the WBC title and become undisputed. If the person holding that is Tyson Fury, he will fight him. If the person holding it is Dillian Whyte, he will fight him. If the person who's holding it is Deontay Wilder, he will fight him. Point one. Point two, Tyson Fury turned down 2 offers from Eddie Hearn to fight Anthony Joshua with a view to go and fight Deontay Wilder instead for less money and less world titles. Deontay Wilder turned down multiple offers from Anthony Joshua for less money and less titles to fight Tyson Fury. They both ducked Anthony Joshua. Tyson Fury told Deontay Wilder that it was a cherry pick gone wrong fighting him. Those are Tyson Fury's words. That's who I was quoting when I made the statement.
But you guys agree that Deontay Wilder, and I don't want to misrepresent anyone, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but is it true that you guys agree with the notion that Deontay Wilder cherry-picked Tyson Fury? Is that your assessment?
Yes.
That's my question.
Yes.
And the reason why I'm answering your question before you've asked it because I know what it is. And the reason why it wasn't a cherry pick when Anthony Joshua wanted to fight Deontay Wilder was because the purpose was for unification.
My question is, do you guys agree that it was a cherry pick on Deontay Wilder's part?
Already answered that. All right.
And the
second part of your answer question.
The answer, Fight Doctor, is yes.
Yes.
Okay. So
yes.
you guys I don't want to misrepresent anyone. So you guys agree that Deontay Wilder cherry picked Tyson Fury. That you guys agree, right? Deontay Wilder cherry picked Tyson Fury.
Already answered that question.
Yes.
Okay. I don't need to say anything else.
The second part to your question is Anthony Joshua. The reason Anthony Joshua wanted to fight Deontay Wilder was because he wanted to be undisputed, but Deontay Wilder declined.
Anthony Joshua still wants to be undisputed, and the holder of the belt, by his own words, is irrelevant to him. He doesn't care who holds the belt. It's not about Tyson Fury. That's what he said after the Pulev fight. He wants the belt. And the point is, let's say the Fight Doctor is correct and Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury don't fight each other next. And Dillian Whyte becomes a mandatory to Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte defeats Tyson Fury. In those circumstances, Anthony Joshua will try and make a fight with Dillian Whyte because he holds the WBC title. Joshua wants to become the first 4-belt undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
Okay, but we all agree that Deontay Wilder cherry-picked. Deontay Wilder fighting Tyson Fury in the rematch was a cherry pick. We all agree. Yes.
In the rematch, that was
according to Deontay Wilder, he turned down more money to fight Tyson Fury. He turned down a bigger offer from Anthony Joshua for more belts to fight Tyson Fury. This is what Deontay Wilder said after the defeat.
And I'm not disputing that. My question is,
and I will put it to you, Fight Doctor, is the reason that he chose to do this is because Deontay Wilder has very poor punch resistance, and he believed that Tyson Fury is not a big puncher, something that I still believe despite his knockout victory over Deontay Wilder, and that is why he chose to fight him.
Very well could be the case. I can't speak to what his intentions were. I don't know what his intentions were. I'm just trying to...
it's my belief. It's not a fact.
I'm just trying to get some clarity on where you guys' minds are, and you guys both agree, and I'm asking this question for the final time. You guys both agree that
I don't think we could be any clearer. We keep saying yes. Have you got a point as to why you want us to...
all right, so I just want to make sure...
any further? Clear. Have you got anywhere to go with
I just want to make sure that I'm understanding you guys correctly. That
yes.
Wilder cherry-picked Fury in the rematch. All right, so Wilder cherry picked Fury in the rematch.
Hold on. The rematch, in the rematch was a different equation. The rematch, Tyson Fury was in better shape.
I would still argue it's a cherry pick because he was being offered the undisputed fight and he chose not to take it.
He was in a better shape. So on that front, I would say no. However, there was still a bigger fight out there, and they chose not to take it. So they still both cherry picking.
Okay,
Smala asked a very interesting point. He says, "How do you cherry pick a guy like Tyson Fury? He is always a high risk opponent." Yeah, that's very true, but they miscalculated. You see someone like Tyson Fury as a cherry pick when you miscalculate, and they miscalculated.
I can explain that anyway. They did not believe that Tyson Fury had the power to knock out Deontay Wilder.
That too.
And I believe, as shown by the first fight, that they felt that they could get a result which would mean Deontay Wilder retained his title because they thought it would go to the scorecards. So therefore it was low risk. Because it's low risk, it becomes a cherry pick when on the table you have 120 million pounds or dollars for 2 fights for the undisputed heavyweight world championship of the world. And then obviously there's the 2-year layoff, the drug addiction, the steroids, everything else.
Okay, so
I think we're still in muddy waters here.
Hold on a second, the clock's coming out. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't know what's muddy about. Unequivocally, yes, it was a cherry pick both times. That's my opinion, Fight Doctor. I don't know what Rafi's is.
Coming out.
Mine.
Okay, all right. So we've got John's opinion. So Mr. Dawkins, I would like to get your opinion. Was Tyson Fury a cherry pick in both fights? That's the question.
Okay, I already answered. I will answer again. Let's move that out the way. Let's share the screen. The clock is coming out. When we have any difficult situations where we need clarity, Rafi brings out the clock. Okay, so let's go. I think you're seeing the clock right now. Okay, let's do it. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so the first fight was a cherry pick on both parties. Both parties thought the other inferior. The second fight was, I think Tyson Fury wasn't a cherry pick then. They knew he wasn't a cherry pick. However, the situation was one of avoidance. They were still avoiding the big fight. The big fight was the Joshua fight. So they were messing around, playing with each other, playing touch butt in the park, they both avoided the bigger fight, which was against Anthony Oluwafemi Olansi Joshua.
Wait, hadn't Joshua just gotten knocked out by Andy Ruiz?
Hold on. You want to say some more? You want to go? Because
my question. No. So wait, your argument. Wait a minute. Wait, your argument. Wait, hold on a second. Your
3,
argument.
2, 1.
Wait, you just made the argument that Fury and Wilder were avoiding the bigger fight and Joshua. My rebut to that, my question is, hadn't Joshua just gotten knocked out by Andrew Ruiz? Now, would you please kindly address the question at hand? Thank you.
Anthony Joshua is the bigger fight. Hold on, let me stop that. Okay, so I'm going to say Anthony Joshua is the bigger fight. The clock's rolling. Anthony Joshua is the bigger fight. He came back and he beat Ruiz. And Dillian Whyte was the mandatory. So Fury could have fought. Wilder could have fought Dillian Whyte. So there were options there for him, but he went back for Fury. Fair enough. It's a bigger money fight. It's a bigger money fight. So yeah. Okay. Boom. There you go.
Wait. How is it that you can accuse Wilder and Fury of avoiding Joshua when in the lead up? But wait a minute. In the lead up. But wait a minute. In the lead up to the Wilder Fury rematch, Joshua had already been knocked out by Andy Ruiz. So what are you talking about? How is that the bigger fight? The guy was coming off a loss.
The reason they were fighting each other anyway is because Wilder was ducking Joshua. So that's the whole reason they were fighting in the first place.
It's very simple, but I think we need to reset the clock and everybody can go one at a time because I've got this covered.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. Deontay Wilder announced that he was fighting Tyson Fury before Anthony Joshua got knocked out. It was actually announced on the day of the press conference.
That's right.
Of Joshua Ruiz won. It's that simple.
AJ had regained his titles before the second fight. Yes.
Yeah, but Deontay Wilder actually announced the fight the week of Ruiz AJ won.
Wow. Dame. Fight Doctor, you've been roasted on that one. Do you want to try and salvage something? You want to come back, or you want to just leave it there and we move on?
Yeah. So
3,
again,
2, 1. Hold on. Let me clear. 3, 2, 1. Final go.
Yeah. So after the loss to Ruiz, Joshua was a non-entity at that time. All right. I'm sorry, but no, these are the facts. Joshua was a non-entity.
20 seconds.
Everyone was questioning his heart because we saw him check out. All right. We saw him quit against Ruiz. And there was a question if he could even beat Ruiz in a rematch. So how is it that you're ducking a guy who had got knocked out of a fight, had the fight beat out of him, had quit in a fight? And this is the guy that you accuse Tyson Fury and Wilder of ducking? That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
It's over.
Whose turn is it to rebut that?
Well, there's no rebuttal needed because it's ridiculous.
I'm not allowed to have a go at it.
Yeah, okay, you can go, but I don't think it's necessary. 3, 2, 1.
Okay. What was the biggest fight purse the year 2019, Mr. Fight Doctor? If you're not aware, the biggest fight purse was Anthony Joshua's fight purse against Andrew Ruiz in the Battle of the Dunes of $85 million. Non-entities do not get paid that type of money.
OMG. Didn't even need the whole time. Fight Doctor. 3, hold on, clear. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah. When you are, what makes you a non-entity is when you get knocked out by the replacement to the replacement, which is exactly what happened. Not only did Joshua get knocked out by the replacement to the replacement, he quit. He mentally checked out of the fight. Okay, I remember seeing the memes of Andrew Ruiz hitting Anthony Joshua, and you see his ghost with the handbag floating out of the ring. I'm sure all you guys have seen that meme before of the ghost of Anthony Joshua floating out of the ring and onto the British Airways.
Enough of that nonsense.
Can I do it one more time, please, Rafa?
No, absolutely
not. It'll take 20 seconds.
No, absolutely not.
It'll take 20 seconds.
It's done. It's very it's over. It is over. There ain't no point in over egging the pudding. Once it's been done, it has been done. Trust me. It's over. It's short. It's concise. The Fight Doctor is like a roast duck on a skewer. It's like a little, not even a duck, a quail. It's like a quail on a skewer. This, you see this thing here? You see this clock? This clock is like a truth teller because you can't do a fandango in the forest, round and round and round and round you go. No, this clock right here is like a truth serum. It's like a truth serum. There's just nowhere you can run, nowhere you can hide, and done. And consider yourself, my sir, roasted. Consider yourself roasted. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Can't mess around. Gonna move on. Okay, heavyweight. We're gonna coming close to the close now. Coming close to the close, and we're gonna get there. Okay, the heavyweight. What's down the bottom? Next moves in the heavyweight division. Next moves in the heavyweight division after Whyte reemerges. Okay, the Fight Doctor. What should happen next in the heavyweight division? what should happen next in the heavyweight division at the top? You got your guy there. You got, I don't know what your position is. Your guy, time's up. You're out of luck. You're out of time. What's next for the heavyweight division? Yeah. Dillian Whyte reemerges. He's the mandatory now. Mauricio Suleiman stated after he lost to Povetkin, he said, okay, so the clock has stopped. If Dillian Whyte wins, beats Povetkin in the rematch, then that means that he then becomes the immediate mandatory again. And the clock starts up to 12 months. There's 12 months to make the fight. So the clock has started, and there's 12 months to make a fight between the WBC champion, whoever that may be, and Dillian Whyte. Where the hell has the fight doctor gone? John D. Lee. We're just getting to the crunch, and the fight doctor dropped out. Come back in, the fight doctor. This is the crunch. This is what we've been leading up to. Where do we go now? John D. Lee.
So obviously I want the undisputed fight to happen, and that's going to take 2 fights.
Mm-hmm.
So that allows for a lot of other exciting fights to happen. There's a lot of talk about what Dillian Whyte fighting Trevor Bryan. I can see it happening. I don't really want it to happen. I'd prefer him to fight Michael Hunter.
Yeah,
that's the fight that I would like to see. I'd like to see Usyk fight Joyce.
Usyk v. Joyce, yeah.
Yeah, so there's 2 of the mandatories sorted. The IBF isn't really due. It needs to start again anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's 4 good heavyweight fights at the top of the division. Oh yeah, I'd like to see Ruiz fight Wilder at the back end of the year.
Ruiz fight Wilder back end of the year.
I want Wilder to have his interim fight. So obviously Ruiz is having his comeback fight now.
Yeah.
I don't know who. I would like to see Wilder fight Helenius and then fight Ruiz.
Wilder
and then arguably
Helenius and then Ruiz. Okay.
Yeah. And then arguably the winner of Ruiz and Wilder puts themselves right back in the mix to challenge for a world title.
So that last bit again, that last sentence.
The winner of Ruiz Wilder would put themselves right back in the mix to challenge for a world title, in my opinion.
Ruiz Wilder challenging. Yeah.
So then you'd have 3 legitimate challengers for the undisputed champion. The winner of Usyk Joyce. Dillian Whyte has really got himself into that position.
Yeah.
So assuming, I think he's going to fight Trevor Bryan, and that will put him in pole position to become a mandatory to one of the belts.
Usyk. Yeah.
Usyk Joyce, Dillian Whyte against Trevor Bryan, Andy Ruiz against Deontay Wilder after they both get a comeback fight. Obviously, Ruiz has got his arranged.
Yeah.
And I would like to see Wilder fight Helenius.
Yeah. Okay. So Usyk gonna stop Joyce, says James Jameson. I say nope. T'other way around. Joyce is gonna put them allegedly slow hands, rest them on the cheekbone, chin, and on the nose bone, and on the eye. He's gonna bless Usyk with some serious touch-up job around the facial.
The big question I've got, and anybody that's an Usyk fan can educate me on this. When has Usyk ever fought a fighter with a bigger reach than Usyk in the pro ranks? Because at cruiserweight he hasn't. Derek hasn't got a very good reach. And I think Witherspoon's a similar reach to Usyk around the 78 mark. Because Usyk's actually got a pretty good, respectable reach.
He's got a respectable reach, does
But when he comes up against somebody that's bigger, hits harder, can take his power, who has a bigger reach, what's the game plan?
What's the game plan indeed? What's the game plan indeed? The fight doctor. Yeah. So we're looking at the next moves. What's the next moves for the top players in the division? What's the next move? Let's talk about your boy Wilder. What's his next move? What's his next move? What's the next moves? How you see this thing playing out? The next moves.
I think Wilder fights either Fury or Ruiz next.
Wilder fights Fury or Ruiz. I don't see him fighting Fury next. I think Joshua's fighting Fury next. Ruiz, I don't see him fighting Ruiz. Ruiz is fighting Areola. So I don't see him fighting Ruiz next. No, don't see that at all. I don't see that at all. Ruiz is fighting Areola. Fury fighting Joshua. Who does Deontay Wilder fight? I think Joshua. I think John's already commented on it. What do I think? I think Wilder fights somebody like a Helenius. There was talk about him fighting Charles Martin. That didn't happen. Somebody like a Helenius. He was lots of talk about him fighting Kawanaki, but Helenius beat Kawanaki, and Helenius got knocked out by Washington, who got beat by Wilder. So it seems like Wilder's just treading water if he fights Helenius next. I don't think he's gonna fight Ruiz next because Ruiz is fighting someone else, and presumably Wilder's been out of the ring for over 12 months. So but
the fight with Areola is in May, and let's be honest, that's not a fight. That's a sparring session.
Okay,
that's
true.
Not a fight.
True, and what?
So Ruiz is fighting in essentially a month, right? And he's fighting what I wouldn't even consider to be a tune-up. So there's no reason why a fight with Wilder can't be made in July, August of this year, which is when I think Wilder will be back in the ring, either against Ruiz or Tyson Fury, one of the two.
You think Ruiz is going to fight 2 times in 2 months?
No,
So May, June, July, August?
May, June,
September?
July. 3 months.
September?
Okay, 3 months. Okay. Or 4 months. 3 or 4 months. Okay.
So you don't think that Wilder should have a comeback fight in between if he doesn't fight Fury to get revenge?
I think Ruiz is a comeback fight.
Okay.
Listen, if I'm Deontay Wilder and I can't beat, even after coming off of a long layoff, I can't beat Andrew Ruiz, I probably need to retire.
Wow. You value Ruiz so lowly. Wow. Well, let that fight happen then. I'd love to see that. Since you value Ruiz so lowly, I think you're in for a very rude awakening. Okay, you got me rooting for that fight now. You guys really value Ruiz so low? Well, you're in for a rude awakening, my friend.
You're not including me in that, are you?
No, I'm talking about
okay.
The Fight Doctor.
It was a plural statement.
Yeah. When I said you guys, I meant the Fight Doctor and people who feel like he. But I'm very surprised the Fight Doctor values Ruiz so lowly. And the intrigue goes deeper because you were offered a super chat bet that Ruiz beats Wilder and you declined. So you weren't confident. That was less than 10 days ago. So less than 10 days ago, you were not confident in betting on Wilder beating Ruiz. And now you're saying...
All right, so here's what I'm saying right now.
Now you're saying that it should be Ruiz should be a walkover for Wilder. That's very strange.
Here's what I'm saying right now.
Very strange.
Here's what I'm saying right now. If indeed Wilder is fighting Ruiz in his next fight, I'll take that bet. $10 US. My money is on Wilder. Whoever wants that business, the bank is wide open.
Oh, James Jameson. There's been a change of heart. James Jameson, there has been a change of heart. And now the fight doctor's had some mushrooms. He's thought about it, or he hasn't had some mushrooms, and now he's saying he accepts the bet. Well, I'm gonna have to have some of that. I'm gonna have to have some of that fight, doctor. I've actually
got it as a 50-50 fight. So
okay, I'm gonna have to have a £5 bet on that fight, doctor. I'm gonna have to take that's £5 British. That's about $6.49 or something like that. So I have to accept. I accept.
That bet is covered.
The bet is covered. Okay. Where are we? Has James Jameson? James.
You see what?
You haven't responded. Oh, he's in. James Jameson is in. Okay. So what figure are we talking about here? What's the figure? £5? £5 bet?
$10 US.
$10 US. He's talking $10 US. Oh, well, I'll go to $10 US as well then. I'll go to $10 US. So James Jameson is in. I'm in. So we're doing $10 US. That's no problem. It's in. It's on.
It's all equivalent. It's all equivalent. So my view on that fight is it all comes down to three things. Is Wilder's power real? How good is Andy Ruiz's chin? Because Andy Ruiz has got terribly slow feet. So if Wilder's power is not as good as advertised, and Andy Ruiz's chin is as good as advertised, Deontay Wilder may have a very difficult night of it. However, Deontay Wilder will land on Andy Ruiz because his feet are so slow.
Okay. So we're taking a look in the future.
I think it's a great fight, and I would be happy for the winner of that fight to get a world title shot because I think it's very intriguing. I think they're actually well matched.
Okay, so we're looking into the future, and
now can I offer my opinion on the fight that I think should happen?
Yeah,
I think Dillian Whyte versus Deontay Wilder is the fight that should happen.
I'd love that fight. Why do you want it now? That fight's been available for years.
Why now? Yeah. Fight?
So
why now?
The best of the rest. That's how I see that fight. So the winner of that fight is in my mind, would be a worthy challenger.
Eddie Hearn's called out Deontay Wilder for that fight. He did it yesterday.
Yeah, so that's the fight.
I have no doubt they would make that fight should Deontay be willing. Therefore, if it doesn't happen, Deontay is continuing to duck Dillian Whyte.
I don't think Wilder ever ducked Whyte in the first place. To be completely honest,
career high money to fight him, and he refused to do so. What would you call that?
Okay, well, listen. Let me ask you this question. Had Deontay Wilder fought Dillian Whyte back in the day, right when he's accused of having ducked him, exactly what is beating Dillian Whyte at that point in Wilder's career? What does that do for Deontay Wilder?
Okay,
how does that?
It does more for him than beating Breezel.
It does two things. Anyway, I can highlight that because it was a purpose for the fight. First of all, it gives him his biggest payday, which I believe was £8 million at the time. That's what he was offered. Secondly, it builds his profile in the UK to build the Anthony Joshua unification undisputed fight for a huge amount of money. That's why Eddie Hearn offered it him. I think that would have been good for his career. He would have earned a heck of a lot of money, possibly become the undisputed heavyweight champion after building the fight up and selling out Wembley. That was the plan.
So let me ask you a question.
He's supposed to come over, build the fight, build his name, just build anticipation for the big
and get paid handsomely career hype.
So let me ask you a question.
Instead of that, he took a different route, and that was highly foolish of him, I think. But carry on.
Yeah, let me ask this question. What does more for Wilder's standing? Having beaten Tyson Fury, especially in the rematch, or beating Dillian Whyte? What does more for his standing as a heavyweight?
Yeah, but that isn't when he was offered the fight, is it?
He lost to Fury, didn't he? He lost to Fury.
Yeah, but there's two things. First of all, he was offered this fight when Tyson Fury was £400, snorting coke, and apparently retired. That's when he was offered the Dillian Whyte fights, first of all.
But now here's the problem with offering Deontay Wilder Dillian Whyte. Why not offer him Anthony Joshua? That's the fight that he wanted.
He was offered Anthony.
Okay, I've got a counter argument to that.
He was offered.
Hold on. Here's the basic argument fight, Doctor.
He was offered Anthony Joshua. He was offered Anthony Joshua, and as I've said previously in this program, he walked away from the table.
But he failed to sign the contract that was sent to him for career high money.
He failed to do that earlier on, and he walked away from the
hold on a second.
He walked away from the DAZN offices and walked away from $120 million.
Yes, but long before that, Rafi, long before that, when the WBA mandatory was called, was it WBA, WBO, the Povetkin fight for Anthony Joshua, Eddie Hearn had got the sanctioning body to delay the mandatory because he had sent a contract to Deontay Wilder that he had agreed to all the conditions. Finkel went online, on record, saying, we accept the offer. Hearn sent the contract. Finkel knew the deadline for the mandatory was approaching, and they sat on the contract until the mandatory was called. They then cried foul afterwards. When all they needed to do was sign the contract, Anthony Joshua was locked in, fights happening. Why didn't he sign, Fight Doctor? What's the reason? Why was Povetkin fighting at Wembley instead of Deontay Wilder? What was the reason for that?
So again, you guys bring up this whole notion about the DAZN contract, this and the other.
No, that's not a DAZN contract. No. Deontay Wilder was offered £12.5 million in a written contract with a fight day at Wembley in September. What is it, 2018? A contract he verbally agreed to. Shelley Finkel, the articles are out there, agreed and asked for the contract, which was sent over. At that time, there was a mandatory that Eddie Hearn had written letters to the governing body to get the mandatory delayed to facilitate the undisputed fight between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, which they verbally agreed to and received a contract for, with a date and a venue. And he didn't sign the paper. They sat on it until the mandatory was called and then cried foul. They had the contract for over 2 weeks. All they had to do was sign it and send it back. Why didn't he do that?
Yeah,
why did Anthony Joshua fight Povetkin at Wembley? Why did Anthony Joshua fight Povetkin?
Yeah, I don't recall all of the facts concerning.
Well, I can provide documentation for you. I've been through this with many people on many occasions. Do you want the documentation?
Sure, send it over so I can see for myself. Please send over or whatever.
Where do you want it sent?
I'll make sure you get my email address. Okay. I'll make sure you get my email address.
Here, no. Because it's got nothing to do with his own offer. That's the first offer that was actually sent to him and agreed to verbally by Shelley Finkel. There's my email address. So.
All right, I got it. All right, I will send you here. You know what? Here, I can put my email address right in here also. So hold on a second. I'm giving you my email address. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, I've provided all this evidence to Smoke on many occasions. And I was going through people at the time. Yeah, I've got that.
And there it is, sir. There it is.
Would you want it now or? I mean,
send it down.
The more I have, so it's up to you.
Okay.
But you can have it now if you want.
All right, and we will look through all the documentation and make our determination.
Okay. I'm not sure Rafi wants to do that on this show, but you will. You will receive the information.
Gentlemen, I've actually got to hop off. I've got to go and play Mr. Landlord. So, but this will be continued at a later date. Thank you.
You're going around masquerading as Anthony Joshua. That's a very unlikely thing, Fight Doctor.
Anthony Joshua could only wish to be as handsome as the Fight Doctor. Okay, so maybe one day.
Well,
okay. So in conclusion, the Fight Doctor. How do you see the future of the heavyweight division? Next couple of fights.
I think Fury fights Wilder next. I think Joshua fights his mandatory in Usyk. And above and beyond that, I really don't know. It's a mess. Conceivably, Fury could see himself stripped in the next 6 to 12 months. Or whoever the WBC title holder is in the next 6 to 12 months could find themselves stripped. I don't know. It's murky. Okay. I think it's murky. I think so. It's a logjam at the top, and it's having a trickle-down effect on the rest of the division. Right now, the whole of the division is in a state of uncertainty because this fight can't get made. So, I mean, who knows what happens next? I don't know.
Okay. And as James Jameson says, this has been like an episode of Ironside. No quarter asked for, no quarter given. And the Fight Doctor, much appreciation for you coming on over and having the fortitude, the stones to come on up in the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio and talking that shiznix. So much appreciation goes out to the Fight Doctor. Your final words, Fight Doctor.
Oh, before I part, I just wanted to say that I will be mailing you a brand new poster of Oliver Fimi to put up on your bedroom wall. So expect that soon. And
don't worry, Fight Doctor. I've got one for you of Tyson. It's very fetching.
Oh, send it over, please. Send it right over. Send it right over.
Send it right over. The exchange of posters are being done live on the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio, and that was the Fight Doctor. Much appreciation goes out to the Fight Doctor for coming on in and chopping it up with us over here at the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. And then there were two, John D. Lee. I think we covered multiple ground, covered lots of terrain today.
Yeah. I just find it interesting that all of a sudden a lot of the Wilder fans want to see him fight Dillian Whyte now.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's like a chick who didn't want you before, and now she's coming sniffing around. I don't know. Have you moved on? I
suspect he has. Yeah.
I think Whyte would still fight Wilder, but listen, get your title shot first. You got 12 months to wait. Probably gonna have a couple of fights. He wants to fight every 4 months. It's probably gonna have a couple of fights. I say make sensible fights, guys who are ranked, but don't go crazy asking for a guy like Povetkin. Okay, you prevailed. But it was an unnecessary risk. Okay, it worked out, but nonetheless, it was an unnecessary risk at the time, and it's cost him. It's cost Dillian Whyte, because instead of fighting for the championship in February 2021 or thereabouts, now he's got 12 months added on to this. More than 12 months.
The thing is, Rafi, I don't think he'd have been able to get that fight anyway.
He would have been problematic, but at least he's still been in a pressure situation. He'd be pressuring people. Now he's given them, room to breathe. He's taken.
On the flip side, he's put himself in line to fight potentially the winner of the undisputed 2 fights.
Yeah, yes.
And that is definitely going to get Dillian more money. And I think he will have done very well after this particular pay-per-view. So if you look at Dillian's bank balance, I think these 2 fights have done well.
Yeah.
And comparatively, I mean, I don't think it was breaking any records last August, but, compared to what else was available, I think it did well. And I think yesterday's fight did well. And he's got himself back in pole position to have a really massive fight.
Yeah. So, it might not have ended as badly as it could have done. So it may have even done his stock some good. May have risen Dillian Whyte stock.
I think from a fan perspective, I don't think Dillian's stock could be any higher. Because not only has he come out and shown absolute massive stones against Povetkin, got the job done in spectacular fashion, post-fight, he's displayed, the nice side of Dillian. The class side.
Yes. Yes, indeed. So Dillian, I think Dillian's profile. Dillian comes out of this with a raised profile, folks. Strangely enough, Dillian comes out of this with a raised profile.
These are my final words, and this is off Dillian Whyte's IG post. We're all warriors full of passion, but we're also brothers in arms. Everyone that steps in the ring deserves respect. At Povetkin Alexander, I respect you, my friend. That's what he's put on his IG today.
Those are some classy words. Maybe Dillian Whyte comes out of this process enlightened. Maybe he comes out of this process a little bit more enlightened, with the raised profile. Okay, so that was the John D. Lee. Much appreciation goes out to the John D. Lee. Okay, I don't know. I'm there. I must press the mute button. Okay, so who do we have on today? We had the Iron Kong. We had the John D. Lee. We had the Fight Doctor. And of course, my good self, your host, the Raphael Dawkins, the Combat Radio. And we had many people come through. I hope that you've been diligent in smashing the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the share button. We're looking forward now. Dillian Whyte has re-emerged with a higher profile. Slightly more humble, perhaps, and slightly more enlightened. Where do we go from here? Well, I see Dillian Whyte having two more fights before he gets at least two more fights before he gets a crack at the title. He's due in 12 months. So more realistically, we're looking at 3 fights. But you never know. You could fight Trevor Bryan. And now he's a two belt holder. Lots of things can happen. I do see Joshua fighting Tyson Fury this year in the summer. And what does Tyson Fury do? Well, we know that Ruiz is fighting Chris Arreola in a PPV, reduced price PPV. So that's Ruiz taken care of. So who else is there? Deontay Wilder. Who does he fight? That remains the question. Let's see how that works out. Okay, so that's the Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. It's the thank you to everyone who took the time out of their day to come and share your time with us and us with you. From us to you, from you to us. Okay. James Jamison thinks that Fury gone duck. Let's hope not. Perish the thought. Perish the thought. Okay. See you in the week. As the next show lined up, scheduled to be on Monday. Okay. Much appreciation goes out to everybody who jumped on the chat and everybody in the comment section, both now and those people who watch it in the future. It's the Raphael Dawkins. It's the like, it's the subscribe, it's the comments, it's the shares, and it's the hitting the bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. And don't forget about the live show Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. And it's been one heck of a weekend. OMG. Let's just have a look at a few frames. Have a look at a few frames of this Shiznix. Povetkin versus Whyte. Oh, what a night. Oh, what a night. It's Raphael Dawkins, the Combat Radio. That's an advert. And we are out. Oh, I want to see a punch, for goodness sakes. OMG. Let's move it along. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on. Oh, no, not another advert. OMG. Blessed.